tuned into This Korean Life with your hosts, Brian and Nate.
How did you guys get here?
We took the bus.
And you got a sweet pickup halfway up the hill. Forget not.
Of course.
See foreign kids walking on the side of the road.
How come you guys didn't go to the baseball game?
We went to the football game that night.
Across the street.
Oh, that was Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last night we went to the football game.
Dude,
Yesterday?
do you know how the game ended yesterday?
Grand Slam, Reyes.
I heard people
then
screaming I was in my house, which is close
they
to
bring
the
out the
stadium.
wild thing. Did you guys go with your mom at the end?
No, so my dad and mom somehow snuck in, but I was in like a different
I think
car.
they jumped the fence or something. I don't know.
They had a good spot because they're right in the middle of the cheering.
Yeah.
Those aren't easy to get. But they must have got there around the 8th inning. 7th, because it was 2-0.
What time did the game start? 6 o'clock? 7 o'clock?
6:30.
6:30?
But it was going to finish, if it finished on time,
9.
in 9 innings, it would have finished around 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it went till almost 11. So she said, I messaged on your thing, I said, whoa, what a finish. Reyes smashed a grand slam. And I said, did you stay for the extra innings? I was confused with the soccer picture because I thought that was your soccer picture from 2 weeks ago. And I was like, why'd she put a soccer picture at the end? That's weird. And she's right in the middle of the cheering. I thought, but she would have put something else or other pictures of the kids that went to the football. I don't know. I didn't
Splitsy.
So she said, no, we came late right when they tied the game. I was like, oh, convenient. Because it was a snoozer until then.
Yeah.
It was boring. There was 3 errors, I think, and looked, it was awful.
Yeah.
Anyways, we went to the game in Busan. It was 12-2.
Oh my god.
I brought my niece and nephews, and it was just a dance party. It was wild.
Wait, to Lotte?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the big wins.
It was wild. The game before was 15-15, I think.
Oh, yeah.
They called it in the 13th or whatever inning they call them in. Did Wilson win last night?
They won, yep. That was like the cup game, so now they're in the semis.
We went last Wednesday, and they lost 1-0. Terrible game.
To Guangzhou. I was watching it from my phone.
Yeah, brutal game.
Well, there was the whole coach problem.
Did they have all the signs up yesterday? All the protest signs?
Now we have a new coach, so we've already signed someone else. They had a few signs, but now there's a problem with the seating. They want to change the upstairs seating to red. I don't know why.
It has nothing to do with Ulsan?
Yeah, so...
No, they were...
They were protesting about the coach that game.
The coach and the director.
Yeah, because of that.
You guys are quite into the football.
It's my team. When I leave, I'm going to still watch them.
No way.
But they're coming to the U.S.A. next year for the Club World Cup.
Oh, very nice.
So I'm going to make it my mission to get to whatever stadium they're playing in.
Yeah.
To watch them.
Bring the jersey.
What about Copa?
Copa? I don't watch that snooze fest.
Copa was interesting.
Was
You didn't watch the final?
I didn't watch the final. No.
But did you see what happened before?
That's what I mean. Like, you didn't...
Oh, I know. I follow it all. USA is not ready for the World Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold
Canada
on.
made the semis. That's pretty sweet.
No, I love Canada. I want Canada to do well.
You mean the team or you mean the country?
The country.
Country.
And the team.
Because
Actually,
of what you saw there?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I watched a really good one or listened to someone's podcast yesterday. And they said it's got nothing to do with the States. Because who runs that tournament? CONMEBOL?
Yeah.
So it's all CONMEBOL sanctioned. It's a South American tournament. It's only been held twice in the States in the whole history. And CONMEBOL is responsible, and CONCACAF is responsible for
everything.
Tickets, arenas, security, the whole thing.
That's true. FIFA.
And they said if this was American run and FIFA run, not a chance this would happen.
That's good to know.
And they said this is all because of CONMEBOL. And the Colombian soccer president got arrested in the stadium.
For jumping the fence as well. Like, how doesn't he have a ticket to his game?
Yeah.
But it wasn't having a ticket. Lots of guys with tickets didn't even get in. It was just trying to get into the freaking stadium.
Yeah.
But they said the CONMEBOL or whatever the hell that South American Federation's called, they're responsible for the whole thing, and they didn't care. They were all just about,
they don't care.
Let's get the money. FIFA doesn't run like that, and they have their own issues, but it's not like this. And that this would have been completely different had it been FIFA, and that there's nothing to worry about.
The Euros were great. We were in Germany, and there was no problems.
Which I was curious about, and when the guy said, I thought, okay, well that makes sense, because it doesn't look very... If it was really American, they would have been shooting those guys.
Yeah.
An extra security that CONMEBOL said they did was just putting more guys there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But not actual police, just volunteers that stand there with
and not even that. Like, they would normally have a perimeter outside of that perimeter to who are the 10, 20,000 guys who just think they can go with no tickets?
Like, you never see this at an NFL game, and there's quadruple the people there, so...
I don't get... Hey, we don't have tickets. Let's just go. We'll just get in.
They were going through the air
ducts,
vents.
Yeah.
Why? They can't kick them all out though. That's the thing.
No, but those poor guys who saved all their pennies to go to the finals and didn't get in, and they had tickets. Oh,
dude, those final tickets were so expensive. They're like triple the price of the Euros.
So that was the example they used. Like that's the Common Bowl, whatever things, just going for money.
Something that when we talked to Croydon, I thought was really cool is how in England too they support like their local club team.
Yep.
No matter how good or bad they do.
Probably
and
like
I think that's
division team or something.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty cool that you guys are so into the local team here and support them, ride or die with Ulsan. And you've had a pretty good run since.
That's the thing. It's nice
since you guys have been here.
It's nice that they're the best local team.
Sure.
And one of the best in Asia. It feels like some K-League 2 Busan Park. Maybe I'd be like.
What if? Yeah. There's been some outstanding games you would have seen as well. I mean, just recently we were at one game, not together, but we saw you guys at one game when they won the. What was it? Was it last November? The league. What was that?
Against Jeonbuk.
Yeah.
When they
had already won.
They had already won
the ceremony.
And then like the whole ambulance.
Yeah. The delayed ambulance.
Yeah.
Is there any other outstanding games that you guys can remember?
It was 2 years ago when we won the league for the first time in like 13 years.
After losing to Jeonbuk in 3 finals or something.
Yeah. I was out the year before that. I went to Jeonbuk with my friend. You remember Dave probably.
Yeah.
We went to the game, and we lost in the last second of the game.
Oh no! What are you, the Toronto Maple Leafs? That's
the whole I know.
I thought only they collapsed.
And the whole bus ride was silent. And then that game was a home game, and that's the one where Martin Adam went crazy and like scored that penalty.
The Incredible
and then he
Hulk.
had that header.
Incredible Red.
Yeah.
That
He
guy
went
scares
wild
us.
at the Euros. Everyone, like, when they subbed him on, they're like, oh, this big guy's not going to do anything, blah, blah, blah. And then he went out to, like, do a talk. And he was just like, I don't really care what people say about me, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, they subbed him in for the next game. And, like, the first minute he was in, he, like, headed the ball. And he, like, completely shoved someone down. And it was hilarious.
Man,
He's a battering ram.
Yeah.
I bet he sailed there on a boat.
The Viking
Probably.
boat.
If I get a plane ticket, I'll take my.
He's gone now. Where did he go?
He's gone now. I don't know if
China?
he has a club right now. That's the thing.
Seems like we train him and then send him to China for the
He's part of
payday.
the Avengers. What are you talking about? He's got the.
I think he left as but we got a new striker and he played well yesterday, so he didn't.
Brazilian guy.
He could have had a hat trick.
What's his name?
Yago.
He played on Gangwon.
He didn't play on Wednesday.
No, not then.
There was a few guys that I haven't heard of for a while.
Who's a blonde guy?
We have 2.
Which one?
Is it
Ponytail.
the Holland
hair?
off witch?
Yeah.
blonde.
Yeah.
The blonde ponytail.
He's Swedish, but he broke his finger a few weeks ago, so he had surgery. So I don't think he's back yet.
Why do you need a finger for football?
That's what I
That's a
said.
great question. Actually, he was playing. He got hurt during a game, and he played through the rest of the game, not knowing it was like broken. And we're friends with one of the coaches, and we had dinner with him, and then I was like, where'd this guy go? He hasn't been playing. He's like, oh, he had surgery. He broke his finger one of the games. I'm like, God.
Maybe you'd have a playing cast or something for that. That wouldn't affect. I guess they use their hands. Like maybe there's just.
If it falls, I guess if he falls.
But I wonder if that's the same thing as what Dr. June was talking about. We interviewed the one doctor, and he was talking about how the basketball team that he works with, a lot of the guys are like, oh yeah, I hurt my hamstring, can't play tomorrow, and they actively try and avoid. That's what he said, right? They try and avoid, or I mean,
some guys sometimes I guess.
It's not, they're not as driven or as passionate as you like to think that. Anyways, welcome to another episode of This Korean Life. I think we're about 12 minutes in. Number 122, featuring Nikolas and Violet Mauceri. You guys are the super athletes of your school. I see in your mom's posted some sweet pictures of you. You guys brought home all the trophies this year.
That's all her. She brought I think everything this year.
Yeah, what was what jewels did you bring home this year? What were your crowning jewels you got?
MVP for volleyball, basketball, and football.
Oh, very nice. And you had football?
I played football this year, and I played volleyball. I was captain of the JV volleyball team, and then captain of the JV football team as well.
Junior varsity, yeah.
Yeah, both JV teams.
Very.
Any award that you got?
Yeah, I didn't get any awards this year.
You did.
Not like
you got the outstanding.
Oh yeah, so
I thought you were rubbing it in.
That's true. Sorry, I help out at the school sports a lot. So when we host like the international events, I usually stay there like the whole weekend and help organize.
Yeah. Good.
So I got a little award for that.
That's awesome. Congratulations, both of you.
Thank you.
That can be better than the sports. I watch the videos your mom posts and stuff. And is it a lack of first? What is the ratio of? I don't know. I don't want to be stereotyping and stuff, but how many Western kids are in your school? What would be the ratio of Western to non-Western kids? Because I think the sports is a lot of the major sports that we would think of as the major sports would be predominantly Western.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think because our school doesn't play against Korean schools, so it only plays against other international schools that we all have to have the same 3 big sports. So it's football, basketball, volleyball, and there's cross country as well.
But if you told me you didn't make the badminton team, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
If you did make it, it also wouldn't surprise me.
So
but I just mean for those major sports, or the core sports, what is the ratio in your school or other schools of Western students to non-Western students, maybe?
I think it starts from how many are actually in the school itself, because like our school you can't be like Korean.
Yeah, you can't be fully Korean to go to our school. Like
even if you did the 3 years abroad?
So that you can.
Yeah, that you can.
So they're full Korean.
They're full Korean, but they've lived, abroad.
They're full Korean.
Exactly. I don't mean like. I mean like. So our school, if you look around, you're gonna see Korean people. Right. You're gonna see a handful of Caucasian, European.
So that's what my question is: how many are Western?
Definitely more than half. Definitely more than half.
Yeah.
So
or they're mixed.
But it depends on the sport.
So my question is it a lack of competition, or we talked about this with your mom as well, the competition gene, that it's kind of, I don't play anything to lose or just show up. I get in trouble when I was teaching in elementary school, and they have the teachers volleyball. They're like, don't play so hard. And I'm like, everybody else is trying 100%, but why do you want me to do 60%? I want to do 100% too. No, you're too dangerous. And I'm like, come on.
Driving balls down the secretary's throat.
It is. But so that's what I mean. Like, is it, when I watch your basketball, I'm like, are the other girls playing or just watching Violet? Like, so when I say that, I wonder, like, do you miss that competition of having people as good as you or to push you? Because it seems like that doesn't exist. I mean, definitely not like it would at home.
Definitely for her. Like like I said, I was on the JV team, so I'm obviously not the best, or even like
what's
second
JV
team.
compared to what?
Like the varsity.
Junior
so I was on the
varsity
junior
compared
varsity
to
team.
varsity.
What's the difference?
Well, varsity is like the A
Varsity's
team.
A team, like the much better team. They're the best people out of the whole group, and then junior varsity is basically.
I thought it was different ages.
No.
So it's in the U.S. It would be different ages. In our school, because it's like an all-inclusive program, there can be like ninth graders, freshmen playing on the varsity team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that,
with seniors.
Thank you to clarify that.
Yeah,
because I thought it was like first, second,
junior varsity, grade 9, 10, 11.
Usually that's how it works. Yeah, but our school, because it's small.
I was like, what do you mean? You're captain of the junior team.
It's great. I was honored. And we did. Yeah,
you can be the snake's head or the dragon's tail.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I'll choose the snake's head all day.
And for volleyball we came second. We lost in we played out of 3 sets and we lost in the third set. And then in football, I was also playing on the varsity team because we were low in numbers, and I was a sub. I think I did the most for them, but that's my opinion.
You're the Cole Palmer of.
That's
it. I got subbed on, I scored, I just go off. That's it.
Violet, what about you? Do you find that you miss or you wish there was more competition, not competitive nature in the average player, or?
I think for me, since I was on the middle school team, we have a few high school girls who are really, really good, and
on
our
the middle school
coach,
team?
No, in high school, and so our middle school coaches were like, okay, you can use a bit of competition. Like these girls, they can mark you who are on the middle school team, but I feel like if you want to do better and do more, I feel like you can have these girls mark you. So he brings them into practice, and I have an 11th grader marking an 8th grader, and it's fun and it's very interesting in any sport, all of them.
Marking, is that a new term?
Yeah.
Guarding?
Yeah, guarding. Same thing. Or in basketball, I'm trying to go up to shoot, and this hand just comes to block me, and I'm like, who the hell is that? And then I remember I'm playing against an 11th grader.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, that'll keep you sharp for when you're you're in a game. You're not going to experience.
What about playing in tournaments and stuff? Do you come across really good kids here or there that just surprise?
Is there any outstanding talent?
There are a few people because we're in a tournament in a conference with some schools in Japan and Mongolia, and there are some pretty crazy people on those teams, especially in Japan.
Hold on, back up. In a conference means what? You play 5 tournaments a year together with those.
So
there's not a league with Mongolia.
it's one tournament each, like, sport. So one tournament for volleyball, one tournament for basketball, one tournament for football. And if you play the sports and you're good enough, then 12 people go, 12 girls, 12 boys, they put you on the team and they take you.
So how often do you go to these countries and how often do they come here?
It depends. You rotate. So for us, this is the first year we're doing this conference. It's completely new. So for middle school, our first season is soccer, and that's when Japan hosted. So we went to Nagoya in Japan. Second season, we hosted volleyball, and then third season, we went back to Nagoya. But for high school, they were going to, like, Mongolia, and other people going to Fukuoka. It depends. They rotate.
Okay.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's good that exists, or that connection exists.
It's different. So some of them, like the Japanese guys, some of those are like serious club players.
Yeah.
So like for when we played football, the Nagoya team, they were so good.
Yeah, they
Like,
take that stuff serious.
They even if they tried, like everyone else they were decent.
But are they all foreigners, as we would say, or are they Japanese who lived abroad 3 years?
Exactly.
Yeah,
same
that's-
year?
Similar
what
rules
they
to
are.
our school.
Okay, so they can play on the national junior team in Japan and still be going to the school.
Yeah.
So
Probably.
okay,
Like,
yeah.
Okay.
So it was like they didn't even play hard.
Yeah.
Like they could have absolutely destroyed us. Like you can see, like their starters, they come on for the first 2 minutes, score 3 bangers, and they're off the rest of the game.
Their understanding of the sports, especially football, is
Right.
really
For
really
them,
good.
it's not even like that fun. I think this conference it's just
Yeah.
like the culture and the atmosphere. Of, we get to travel to Korea.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
get a few days off of school, meet some
You
of the
do
guys.
get to do cultural experiences anywhere you go. So
How is that funded?
actually, how is it?
So the point of this new conference is we were in one with like Jeju schools, which ended up being you go to Jeju, you go straight to your hotel, you go to the school, you play sports, you go back to your hotel, you go home. This was supposed to be like, okay, you get to stay at the other school. So when they come to us, they stay in our school gym. They stay in the classroom. So that cuts the cost of the
Hotels.
housing. And then we're also supposed to like provide the food because then it's reciprocal. When we go there, they pay for
Give
the
you
food.
food, yeah.
So it keeps the costs really
Which makes
low.
it feasible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the flights, depending where, like if it's Mongolia, it's going to be more expensive, and depends what the cultural events in. Like sometimes when they go to Japan, they go to like a sumo wrestling event, which is really cool, but you know
Yeah.
it's a little bit costly.
Sure.
When they came here, we took them to like the luge in Busan,
Yeah.
and so there was that, and then we went to like a temple, which is free, and then buses. So
Cool.
it's
But one
usually
of the
pretty
main
affordable.
things that we switched conferences with the Jeju schools was that we were getting beaten like every single time.
You were getting beaten?
We were getting beaten, and
By
it
the
was
Jeju
bad.
teams?
Yeah, because those are all boarding schools.
Yeah.
So like they eat, sleep, and breathe sports.
Ah.
Like they wake up, go to school, play sports for hours, go to sleep, and they do that same thing every single day.
They have national team players.
Yeah.
Like in those Jeju schools, like they have some national.
And
How
a
many
lot
is
of
there,
them.
two?
Sorry.
Branksome Hall and
Yeah.
one other
There's
There's-
4.
4?
SJA.
What's the Canadian one?
NLCS.
In Jeju? I don't think so.
I don't think
There's
so.
definitely a British one. I know there's a British one.
There's 4 there?
There's 4. One's an all-girls school though.
Wow.
Yeah.
At least the high school and middle school are all girls.
Wild.
But, I think
But
it's
and
wonder
also
when
a
they're
lot
gonna
of
get a
those
hockey
people
team.
they stick with one sport. Yeah, they have hockey.
They just put the ice rink in.
Yeah.
That rink was built like 10 years ago. But there was no refrigeration plant, so it was just an empty rink with nothing in it. And then last year they put the refrigeration and started hockey, but it costs a fortune.
oh, I
Yeah.
can imagine.
Compared to here, oh my God, it's like triple the cost. If you want to just go rent it or your family for a going away party, whatever, here it's $120 for an hour and a half. There'll be like 500.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Oh, sorry. One more thing I want to ask you about. You guys did lots of 5K
Yes.
runs this year.
Yep.
Did you do one every weekend since March?
It definitely felt like it. Sometimes there was even like back-to-back Saturday, Sunday runs. Like one day we're up in Gyeongju, and then
And
we're
the
down
next
in
day
Busan.
we're in like Busan.
Yeah.
Doing a run across a bridge.
Very cool.
So
What's the best course you've done? What's the best course you've done? I've only raced in Ulsan.
We've done the Gyeongju one twice, like
yeah,
the cherry blossom.
That's beautiful.
Sure.
It's really nice.
good.
Yeah.
If they're blossoming at the right time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That exactly.
We did get lucky.
Because I did one of those ages ago and there was no blossom.
At least it's something to distract you while you run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just really nice. You see, some people just go to take the pictures, so
Yeah.
you're trying to run, and if you get stuck at the back of the line,
Oh,
Yeah.
It's like,
it's
you
a
definitely want to
nightmare.
go up in the front.
Even
and
if
start.
you do the 10K and you're at the front,
Yeah.
you bump into the half,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
slow halfers. And if you're doing the 5, you
so like, it's the same
mush
problem
up
for
with the
everyone
10.
probably.
Yeah.
But I did one with my dad over the Gwangali Bridge.
Yeah.
And that one, they shut down the whole top of the bridge.
Cool.
Right.
And that's like funded by like Adidas and Mercedes, and they have like a big event. So that was a lot of fun.
Very cool.
I stopped a few times to take pictures, but it was a cool experience.
What's your best time? For you guys, you've only done the 5.
I've only done the 5, but my best time was actually in school.
Okay.
Yeah, I did 25 minutes and 38 seconds.
Nothing wrong with that. Well done, Ed.
I think I've gotten it down a little bit under 24.
Yeah.
It took a long time.
Yeah.
I think it was at the Gyeongju, the cherry blossom one.
Yeah.
I think that's when I got my best time.
Very nice. Do you have any pre-race rituals that you do, or is
Most
it
of the
kind
times
of
it's just like
get out of the
up
car
early and then you're like, why am I doing this?
That's it. Every weekend was like,
Dad.
why are we still doing
Yeah.
this? Like, we'd travel all the way to Miryang, like an hour and a half away at 6 a.m. It's like, why?
Or like we
Is it
went to
worth it?
Gojade to visit some friends, and then they're like, "Oh, there's a marathon," and I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." And they're like, "Oh, we're gonna do it," and I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know that's why we're here."
I don't have my shoes.
So what's
Yeah,
what's
exactly.
your answer to that question now?
What marathons?
Why do we do it?
Why do we do it? We haven't done one in a while. Just school's gotten really busy, so we haven't done one since probably April.
Yeah.
Since the
think
cherry
the
blossom one was like the
one.
last,
No, the Tewagon. That was the last one.
somewhere in May.
Yeah.
But it's why do we do it? I think it's a lot of fun. It's worth getting up now.
Yeah.
It's just cool, you get to see all the people, and everyone else is in the same situation as you, which is kind of nice, because you look around and one person you'll see, getting the soup that's provided, and another one you'll see next to you laying down, like dying,
Yeah.
because they just like gave it their all. So I
Which
think it's
one
just
are you?
really cool. Me,
The
I'm
soup.
the makgeolli, the nice makgeolli they give you at the end.
I think I really like the atmosphere because we did the one with the mountain just behind our house. What was it, the Yopo-san?
Yep, Posan.
Yeah. And
Is that
that
the-
was the long
Yes.
one, the 11-kilometer one.
That's
That was crazy, but it was actually so fun because, like, we all split up when we did it. So some people were going faster depending on the pace, and some people just wanted to walk it because we had a big group of friends.
Yeah.
But, like, I was up on the mountain just by myself. My dad was somewhere ahead of me. My brother was ahead of me. And, like, there was this guy next to me, and he was, like, running, but he was, like, really out of breath. I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna hype him up. So we like started running together, and like the last 3 kilometers we did it together, and it was amazing. I had no idea who he was. He barely spoke English, but the fact that we were just running on the same path together was such a good feeling.
That was my first half. In the old days, they used to always be at Munsu here. They weren't at the riverside. They were around Munsu and go down some farm roads or whatever. And I was ready to pack her in with probably like 5K left, and this guy showed up, and I was like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "Let's go! You can't stop!
exactly.
Let's go!" And I'm like, Who are you? Get out of here. Get going.
Why are you helping me?
I got my own shit to deal with. And that guy dragged me to the finish line there, and I thought I had a half-broken leg or torn ACL or something.
And you'll just...
That guy just mustered me through to the end there. And I was like, wow, thanks, bud.
It's a little... Yeah. And then you'll never see him again. That's the thing. So it's...
Yeah.
The atmosphere is definitely the cool
It's
part of
something
it.
to
the pump up at the beginning. Everyone's stretching together.
Like
Exactly.
the-
They
Got
do.
some
They
The
do
3, 2,
videos of
1
stretching.
fireworks or whatever. That
They
stuff's
have fireworks.
amazing.
So yeah, I think we're gonna miss that. a
Yeah.
bit.
I like that.
We're gonna miss that.
And I know I've done the Ulsan one a few times, and it's the same guy calling it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, every time I look at his face, I just go, oh, it's nice to see a familiar face, but I know what's coming.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
But I noticed that because I do the 5K, I usually end up being in the middle of the back.
Yeah.
And right after he calls it, he takes off like whatever like sponsor
Suit or
wear
whatever he's wearing.
and he runs with you.
Yeah.
He only runs like the 5K, I think.
That
but
was the
usually
one we
that's-
did. Where was that?
That was here in Ulsan. I saw
He
the
rips
guy
off the
literally-
green suit. Wasn't he wearing a green
I
suit?
saw
this
him,
year?
like, he was standing on the stage. He drops the mic after the fireworks go off, and he just joins in the crowd and starts running.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It was amazing.
I have never done anything like that at home, but there's always some characters in the ones here. There'll be some guy promoting Jesus, some guy
yeah.
anti-American guy, some protesting guy here. There's all kinds of funny characters in them.
Man, this year I watched the race. I saw your dad cruising. Hey? 250 pounds of solid muscle just ripping through the course, man. Oh my god, I seen him twice. He cooks it. He's under 50
He's
minutes.
pretty quick.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
But standing at the finish line, watching the Kenyans was, dude.
Yeah.
It doesn't even look real.
Yeah.
It looks like they're in fast forward compared to regular people.
Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible to watch them. And it's probably like the last 250, 300 meters.
Yep.
They're just, man, I couldn't do that on a
It's
bicycle.
just like the same pace the whole thing. It's crazy.
Cruising, man.
I remember I did a 5K in Goje.
Yeah, it was a
and
good
I
one.
was like 20 200 meters from the finish line, and I see a police motorcycle kind of scoot past me, and then I see a Kenyan guy behind him, and I'm like, he can't be from the 5K. Like, that's not possible. Like, they'd be done already. Wait, no way he's from like the 10K. Like, he'd have double lapped me already. Like, he'd have done double what I did in 5, and I'm running. I'm not walking. I didn't stop. So he's going twice my speed. And
well, Martin, the guy that we interviewed here, he said not this year's, last year's half marathon, his 10K split was 31. So he beat the 10K winner by 3 minutes.
Wow.
Doing the half. So his half time was was 3 minutes is massive in a in a 10K.
And he says they don't try. Because they run all the time, so they just go as slow as the slowest Korean, and then the last whatever kilometers they just say "see you later, buddy," and go get all the medals.
He's so just sitting here watching him. He's like, "Yes, I just wait at the back of the pack, and I have a good kick at the end, and then I just run." And you're like, "Oh wow!"
And then I start running.
Yeah.
The last 1-2 kilometers, I just run. Wow. I had a slow day today. 1:09. For a half marathon. Yeah. Oh my god. Do that on a bicycle. Seriously, do that on a bike. It'd be interesting to
it's
try.
Unbelievable.
But anyways, are you going to keep running? Sorry, when you go to the States?
So
hold on. My impression is that you don't like running.
I didn't.
And you do it because they tell you that we're going to the marathon, and then
nobody likes running.
I don't think anyone willingly wants to run.
Not at the beginning.
Exactly.
Once you pass this, there's some line that you'll pass, and you'll wake up one day and be like, "If I don't run today, I'm gonna die."
Yeah. So
get there.
I feel that because I haven't ran in a while, and I do miss it a little bit because at the beginning it was like I was like, oh, I absolutely hate
That's
this.
everyone. I hated it too.
And then kind of in your brain, it's like, I just want to be a little like, let me hit my goal once, like let me get a little bit faster, and then a little bit faster, and it's like, okay, if I train, I'll get a little bit faster.
Then you don't want to stop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think in the U.S. I'm gonna try to pick it up. It's a big like cross country is kind of a big thing, and I guess it's standard to do 5K in high school and stuff like that. And like I'm not great at any other sport, so maybe the only team I get on. And so if it is, I'm gonna be the best.
And it'll also be good for other areas of your life. Like running, you do it all the time, so it'll help you in football or basketball or anything.
Mental health is probably the biggest thing plaguing everyone now. You go for a nice run in the morning, everything's clear.
Yep.
It's
I have like a playlist that I use, like same songs every time I go running.
Yeah, what's on it? I'm curious to know.
It's like a remix kind of thing. Some are like a slower song, but I like the whole thing. So it's really nice. Some people like to listen to podcasts. I feel like those are a little bit slow sometimes. Like I know people send me podcasts. They're like, listen to this next time you run. I'm like, I just listen to it.
Depends if you're racing or going for a nice leisurely run, right? Yeah, 100%.
But people they have all different kind of like, traditions. I'll do this and then I'll stop, I'll walk, stop, listen to a podcast. Sometimes some people can't listen to anything. Like they just have to.
That's a Kenyans. Why don't you listen to anything? The hippos. What do you mean the hippos? Yeah, a hippo starts chasing you. You gotta listen to him coming up behind you. Wild. What's on your? You got some pump up tunes?
When we first started, I was like, I really need music to because I use music to get through a lot, just when I'm doing whatever. But then, I don't know, this one time my mom, took my headphones because hers weren't working. She's like, just take it, whatever. So she used them, and I was running without any music, and I was like, this is actually kind of good. I really like it.
More connected, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know. It was nice because, I don't know, I feel like I had a better understanding of where I was. Because every time we do it, was like a new track. So, I'm running, and then I see people turn, and I'm like, wait, there's still more to go?
Yeah.
Because I wasn't, calculating or anything.
Yeah.
But, at least... I don't know. We did one by the water. I think it was also the Goje one, but it was just it was next to the beach and hearing the waves and everything. It was so nice.
See, my problem with running without music is that I hear my breathing, and I find that gives me a feedback loop of oh no, I'm breathing too hard. I'm and when I drown that out, it's just
that's the best part because then I could actually track my breathing.
Oh yeah.
Because I did it for school when I first started running, and. After I'd won, this coach came up to me from one of the other schools, and he's like, "How'd you do it?" And I'm like, "Did what?" And he's like,
"Steroids."
How'd you do it? You ran so well. How'd you do it? And I was like, I kind of just focused on my breathing. You have to breathe in and out, and you have to do it at a certain thing. And for me, I kind of matched it up every time my foot hit the floor. He's like, that's really great. And I was like, yeah. And so he turns around and he like starts telling this to his kids, and I'm like, okay.
I have like this thinking where running and like how to breathe when you run and how to breathe normally are like completely different. And if you can't do one, like you can't really, if you don't know how to, you can't run successfully if you don't know how to breathe like for that. I don't know. I have like this kind of thinking. So when people say they want to start running, I'm like, okay, you have to know how to breathe to do that.
Yeah. When I first, or in the early part, I guess, of my run, I try and breathe through my nose as much as possible.
Yeah.
But then once you get to a certain pace, you got to open up the extra exhaust and you got to suck as much in as you can. But I try and go as long as I can with my mouth closed.
Or, okay, I'll give it one breath from my mouth and back to nose for a bit.
One of the popular podcasters, too, he said the most effective way to get, I guess, like oxygen or whatever in your blood would be almost like a child who's crying. He's like, like two double ones in and then a big one out. I guess through your nose.
There's lots of that on the web.
I think I've seen swimmers do that before. They do laps.
Or you can just do a little Lance Armstrong, extra pint of blood, and one breath, you can go the whole way. Awesome. With all the sports and being at an IB school, is it difficult to balance your academic work with your athletic schedules and tournaments and stuff like that? Not so bad?
I think because we're not like, I'm just starting 11th grade now, so it hasn't been too bad yet. But I had thought about like if I stayed in our school, I'd probably drop volleyball just because it was just busy and getting home was a bit of a pain.
Sure.
And then if you're not really 100% committed to the team, why are you going to be there?
Sure.
Because if someone was on the football team, and I would play football the rest of my life if I could. Just play for fun. And if someone's there who doesn't actually want to, win something, like, why are you even here?
Sure. 100%.
Like, I don't want you on my team. So that's why I quit the volleyball team, the basketball team actually a few years ago because I realized, like, I'm skipping practice. Like, I wouldn't want myself on my team. Right. So I just, it's not fair to my classmates. Most of them were my friends, so 100%. I just quit, and I'd probably do the same thing for volleyball because it's just.
What is the requirement for those sports? Are they all different seasons? Like first 6 weeks is basketball, next like that.
Exactly.
So what is a typical requirement for that? Are you practicing 3-4 times a week or?
Twice a week.
Yeah.
2-hour practices.
Sometimes you have weekend practices if the team wants.
The volleyball team were doing 2-a-day practices. They were practicing in the morning and night.
Oh wow!
And you got a game once, twice a week, or?
Unfortunately, there's not many games in the whole season. You'll have like 3 or 4 game days. So maybe you'll have 2 friendlies.
So those are like warming up for tournaments or something?
Yeah.
2 friendlies and 2 tournaments.
Okay, so it's mostly practicing or inter scrimmages and stuff like that.
So when I got that award, I was trying to do a lot by getting Korean teams involved. So I was on a school trip to Malaysia and I set up like a whole friendly against the Korean club for the middle school girls basketball team. Nice. And the boys actually. And so from Malaysia, I'm like contacting the coach, like, all right, be at this school this time. We got the referees, don't worry about it. Our players are all good. Like, this is our age range. And that worked out really well. And I tried to do it for some other sports, but...
That's a sweet line on a resume. Eh?
Yeah.
But they came from Malaysia just to play friendlies?
No. They were a Korean team, but I was in Malaysia, like, setting this all up.
He was, like,
on a
plane in another country doing this for people who are English.
Yes. I was pretty happy. And the girls... Like, this club team was really good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But after that, our school girls never lost another game that season, so I think it was a good wake up for them.
Very nice.
Yeah. It was definitely something different, too, because when we play against the international schools, like, you can understand what they're saying to each other, because all of them are speaking English. But, like, in Korean, they're, like, coming up with these tactics in Korean, and everyone's like, wait, what are they saying? Like, what are they doing?
You gotta get a translator on the team. Oh, very nice, very nice.
In the Korean schools, there's only X amount of schools per city that play, right?
So
I think U.S.A. only has one baseball school.
Yes. This was a club basketball team, but it was more like a junior team, so I made sure like we weren't going to get absolutely crushed. Yeah. But at the same time, we're not going to crush them, so try to get some kind of like even...
I feel that's one of the hardest things, trying to do it for the kids for hockey. No, we volunteer coach. The other coaches are getting paid. They don't want to lose to us who's...
Yeah.
We're not taking money. If they lose, the parents go crazy. Like, these guys charge like a quarter of what we charge, and they beat us. Something's wrong here.
Exactly. I've noticed that because
I don't care if we win or lose because I got no skin in the game. I mean, we're just there for having fun and playing sports. But the Koreans are really tentative to or hesitant to join, and they really want to know. Like for one game, they said, "How old is that number 7?" So he's middle school 1. This is only up to grade 6. I said, "Listen, he started playing last year. It's just like the English academies. If you lived in the States for 5 years, you don't go in grade 3 English academy.
Yeah.
When you're in grade 3, you go in with the middle school, whoever, on your ability. So anyways, that's a huge thing with the Koreans is making sure they're not going to get their ass kicked.
Yeah. That was a weird thing because I wasn't there the day that they played against that Korean team, but I heard from other people, like, we have bleachers in our school gym, and they told me, like, the second floor was full of the Korean kids' families. Like, the kids who went to our school, their parents weren't there. Like, they just take a bus
and it was
to
a
school in the
home
morning.
game, right? We were hosting them.
Yeah.
And, like,
They brought
usually
the-
I come to the school and, like, just get there early and practice. And since I was the captain, I needed to make sure, like, all the girls are there, everyone's ready. I got there before the coach and everything, but I was there. And I was, like, 2 hours early, and there are already parents there, like, sitting with their kids, and their kids
Parents,
are shooting.
kids, nephews,
And,
grandmas.
like, their siblings and everything. And I'm like,
Going
is
to
this,
beat the
like, the
Waygooks,
team
baby.
or just the family?
Going to beat the Waygooks.
I think that's
Yeah.
another thing because we're an international school. Like everyone wants to come, and then they all take pictures of our campus, and it's like, wow,
Sure,
like,
yeah.
we're playing these like international kids, and we beat them. Like how great is this?
Yeah.
That's awesome. But and sorry, to speaking in regards to the academics, you just finished middle school.
Yes.
You guys at the end of MYP, you guys have a big project. Is that right?
The end of MYP is actually 10th grade, so he just did his big project,
Yes.
the personal project.
Yeah. What it's a special name. What is it?
It's called the personal project.
Yeah.
That's what they call
Oh,
it.
so what's at the end of high school?
It's so MYP goes all the way from grade
Oh no,
6.
sorry. What's the elementary one?
Oh,
PYP.
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 Yeah.
Primary years.
Primary
Yeah,
years
yeah. But what's there's a big
They
project
call
there
it
that.
the exhibition. They call it an
Yeah.
exhibition
PYP
project.
okay,
exhibition.
okay.
It's like a
Okay.
team project.
Okay. And then you do a personal one.
And then it's a
Yeah.
personal one.
Okay.
And then that's
Cass.
you do in 8th grade. You also do another smaller team project.
Okay.
It's supposed
That
to be
I
like
just finished?
a Dragon's Den spin-off if you've seen the show, or like
Yeah,
Shark
yeah,
Tank.
yeah.
And so you're supposed to be with a team, kind of come up with something innovative, and then pitch it to a bunch of teachers and parent volunteers.
Very nice, very nice. What did you do for your MYP project?
For the personal project,
Yeah.
I made a school sports podcast.
Very nice.
It was
It's not your first rodeo today.
no, it's not. So I was really happy. And this was really cool. I interviewed the basketball coach and the captain before they went on one of their international trips to Mongolia.
Cool.
And then I talked to them after the trip as well. And I just learned a lot. It was really cool just getting to know how it all worked.
Yeah. What were some of the big obstacles that you encountered whilst there? I mean, we're still not perfect by any means.
Yeah.
It's still really difficult to I mean, the technical side of it, the interview side of it. What was really difficult for you?
To be honest, this project, you don't get extra time to do it. So it's kind of just stacked on top of all of your classes. So it's very hard to find time to do the
Like,
work.
everything's done at home.
Exactly.
There's no class.
So honestly,
that's
at the end of the
put aside for you to
project,
do
I was a bit disappointed in like what I created because like it was pretty bad. It was like 1 or 2 short episodes when I wanted to have like a whole season of boys and girls sports
Oh, okay.
and hopefully incorporate middle school, which I wasn't able to do. But some problems were definitely like just like what do I actually want to know? So that's when I started my project. Like, what do I want to learn from this podcast? I want to know who these guys are. And so by the time I found that out, then I was like, okay, who do I interview? How long should my interviews be? Stuff like that.
Just out of curiosity, what were some of the other projects some of your peers did?
So one girl, she's big into swimming. So she created like a website about like safety when it came to swimming. Another girl created a book. Another guy had like pet fish and saw how long he could take care of them. A few people did fitness, so they went to the gym for like 8 months.
Yeah.
There was one other girl who's also really into sports in his grade, and she made a newspaper about all the sports, season 1, season 2, season 3.
Like a magazine.
Yeah.
And she talked about like some of the history
really
of...
Can you tell me a little bit about the pet fish guy? That sounds like my kind of project.
He's a good friend actually, but he's a little goofy. So I think he bought some fish. He likes fishing.
Like, was it how long could he take care of them in the microwave or something? Or what? There must have been another part to the project.
Honestly, I don't know exactly what it was. I just know he got a few fish and I think a snail. Most of them ended up dying.
Yeah.
And it was pretty much how well, because I guess he thought he can't really do much. Like, okay, let's see, can I take care of fish, simple fish, like clean the tank every so often, remember to feed them.
Yeah.
And
my buddy in high school had a goldfish. Never fed it, never cleaned it, not regularly. Dude, I swear to God, it was an unnamed fish, by the way. I think he won it at a carnival or something. Dude, its eye popped out. It was floating around like this.
In the toilet and dude, came back up. I don't want to go yet.
We named him Popeye after. He was just floating around like this with his one eye hanging out.
Well, taking care of fish might seem easy, but I had a guy one time try and take care of my fridge when I went on a trip.
Oh, God.
Totally
That wasn't
failed.
my fault. That wasn't my fault. Listen.
Totally failed. I had 2 rotten corpses in there when I got home.
True story. Go to my house and close all the windows. There's a typhoon coming. I'm going on vacation for a month, but I left my windows wide open, so go close them. I did. I don't know, dude. The windows were closed when you went home.
The windows were closed. The deal was to go and check once every 4, 5, 6 days while you're in the neighborhood.
And I checked twice, and then a typhoon came, and I went, he's coming home in 4 days. The typhoon, knocked the power out.
The fuse or something for the fridge, it didn't kick back in, and the fridge was done, and it was full of stuff, and it was awful.
Yeah.
So
next, when you're ready for your PYP program,
so Brian can try the fish next time.
The MYP.
It's not easy. That's why he's like, okay, I'm not going to try with something hard because that's just going to be crazy. And he barely managed to fish. Honestly, he barely managed.
Just swab Nate's fridge for oh, man. Anyways.
It was a great project. I really liked it. I just wish I could have put more effort into it, but I just didn't have the time.
Is there a chance to give feedback to administration or teachers on, like if everyone, the consensus is that, if we had an hour, how long does it take to do it? How much time do you get?
You pretty much get from September all the way until March.
Yeah.
So there's plenty enough time.
There's a lot of time.
The problem is procrastination.
There's a lot of time and there's procrastination, but it does get busy. School is just...
Do they check in on you at all or no?
You have mentors.
They kind of do check-ins. You're supposed to have a mentor.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be a whole process, but...
Just feels like it needs maybe a little bit more structure, and then it would keep you on pace.
I think so too, but
if there was checkpoints...
Yep.
A few more checkpoints to make sure you were on track.
I think the whole idea of the thing is probably to draw them out yourself.
That's it.
To
It's
learn
supposed to be
when you're done,
independent,
oh shit, I should have been doing...
Exactly. I think if they
along the
just
way.
made time available, but they would never do it because... I've talked to grades above me and they had the exact same problem. Sure, procrastination is one thing.
Sure.
But
but even with the time in class, you'd do the same thing. You just wouldn't do the homework.
Maybe.
Stuff.
Some people I know that really wanted to do well in the project, literally, like me. I don't get home until 7 p.m. and I leave at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
So it's a long day.
Yeah.
I really don't have time to go home and then
Start
after my
thinking about
homework
other things,
try to come up with stuff for my podcast, create a
Creative
logo,
ideas,
create ideas and all this other stuff, send emails about, where I'm going to meet the person I'm going to interview. It takes a lot of time.
Yeah,
I mean, you guys probably know firsthand, so.
Absolutely. Hold on, even speaking to, you got your feet wet in it. If you wanted to continue on, I think with maybe anything in life, our first few episodes are brutal. It's still... Again,
they were brutal. There was learning experience. They were fun.
But I mean, we recorded one whole episode, and the mic on my computer was on, and it just sounded like we're talking into. First, we only had 2 mics, so him and the guest would share a mic. I was talking to this, and this was picking us up, but on a half a second delay. So our whole episode was ruined, and we had to release it. And everyone sounds like a robot. But again, these are just learning experiences along the way. So, anyways.
just you mentioned the time there, the going and coming time. One, how big is the school? How many students?
We have just over 300.
Yeah.
From which grade? Grade 1?
It's before grade 1, from
It's
preschool,
kindergarten.
It's
from
the
preschool,
very, very,
before
very small.
kindergarten, 2 years before kindergarten, all the way until you graduate high school.
Yeah.
And the typical schedule. What about someone living in Busan? What would their schedule be like?
Depends if they take some people live right next to the school. Some people also have to take a bus. Some people live even further than we do, down in Goje.
What are the regular hours?
The school hours are from 8:30 to 3:30.
Yeah, and then if you have an after-school activity, depending on what it is, usually they're 1 hour long, so 3:30 to 4:30. Then you get on the bus. If it's a sport and you choose to stay longer, you could be from 3:30 to 5 or 3:30 to 5:30.
How many buses back to Ulsan are there? One.
There's 2, so one goes at 3:30
yeah.
and one goes at 4:30.
That's it.
That's it.
And if you stay after that, you take the train back?
Yeah.
So we figured out the train, and it's pretty convenient for us, but it's just time consuming, I guess.
You get off at the Taewagang and then take a taxi home? Or
Usually
take
a bus.
Yeah.
Now we take a bus.
Yeah.
Did Kyungseo go to that school?
Kyungseo?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did. He's
graduating now?
He graduated already.
Yeah.
Already.
You know him?
I know him, yeah.
He used to go to our old school. He used to go to HFS.
He was coaching at the hockey, right, for a little while? Trying to. Yeah, he's.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he's a little bit.
Coaching.
Yeah, no comment.
Because I used to see him sometimes. He'd take the train back and I go, man, this is what time you come home at?
Yeah.
Holy shit, man.
I think he ended up getting an apartment in Busan his last year, so it was a little bit
Yeah.
easier for him.
Yeah.
Huh.
Instead
And
of
now
having
he's
to commute.
going to the States. So when you guys do that, what do you do on your, like, what's the commute? Hour in the morning? Hour and a half?
In the
Just over an
morning,
hour.
just over an hour, yeah.
And what do you do?
Morning is
Sleep.
usually sleep.
Is it
Definitely
Yeah?
sleep.
Morning
Always.
is sleep.
get up, get ready, sleep?
Yeah.
And what about on the way home?
Way home is usually
Homework. I do homework.
Homework.
homework, sleep sometimes depending on how long the day was.
Yeah.
Listen to music, watch a movie or something.
Most of the things I try to do is if like, because sometimes I'm really not willing to like whip out my computer in the middle of a train. So I'll just like go through anything I need to on my phone and then like do whatever, just check messages, check emails, whatever. And then I just get home and I like put my phone away and I just don't see it for the rest of the night because I like checked everything.
Right.
And if it's something really, really important, then it'll probably be something
Wow.
from my parents. So I'm
That's
just, like,
that's some serious personal control, man, for a
Yeah,
girl
but
going into high school.
I'm kind of the same. If like now I don't have my regular class, I just have a morning camp, and I have time between 12 and 1 to check my phone, and then I don't even he sends messages. I check them tomorrow morning because I just don't need to look at it. I've already looked at whatever I need for today.
Exactly.
It's 3-4 o'clock.
And,
if you're
like, if
messaging
it's
now,
anything-
you're getting an answer tomorrow.
Exactly. If it's anything super important, it'll be from school and they would have sent it earlier.
Or they'll phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they'll
Exactly.
phone. So I like that. How many students from here go in the morning? Is there a lot?
It's mostly younger elementary kids.
Yeah.
We're the
They're
10,
not
20,
many.
30?
Total from Ulsan, they're probably about like 15.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's not much.
Not many.
It's not many.
But there are also other places that they come from. Like there's kids
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Goje, also probably
I'm just
about
curious
15.
about the population here and what it's like because the old Hyundai Foreign School was packed. It had a
Yeah.
ton,
It was.
ton of kids. And then a lot went to Busan, but now that just the amount of engineers has gone down
Yeah,
so
so
far
there's
that there's
not
just
kids
not many
anymore.
kids
Yeah.
left. And it went from like single men to families, and now it's kind of like single men and families.
Yeah.
Where when it was families and they were living at, what's it called?
The compound?
Samsung Dome.
Skyrex.
Skyrex.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was called Skyrex?
Exordia maybe.
Yeah, Exordium and
Somewhere
Skyrex.
in there, yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of families chose to live there
Yep.
because it was the last stop before
Yeah.
going, so they saved an extra probably 30 minutes in the commute every day. But I was just curious what the numbers were like. But 15 is not much at all.
Yeah.
No, we're lucky we have a bus that takes the Ulsan Bridge now. So
Yeah,
it
we
doesn't
don't
have to go through downtown.
Yeah.
It cuts off a long time.
Yeah. Oh, very nice.
And what age did you, or what grades were you guys in when you started going there?
I was in 2nd grade and he was in 4th grade.
Was that when the school here shut down?
Yeah.
It was a year before it shut down because we had already moved our house.
Yeah,
And
we
then
switched.
by
No, we were still going. We still lived in the compound.
Yeah,
Then
that's right.
we came to ISB, and then the year later we moved, and then the year after that the school shut down, and like everything just closed in the compound.
So what if you had to compare and contrast that between the commute, the student body, the opportunities? I mean, obviously it's a much bigger school, bigger population stuff, but if you can contrast or compare the difference between those two. I know you're also different stages of your life, but before it was walk across the street
Yeah,
Literally, we walked
then-
down.
and you could do whatever
Yeah.
you want, and there's a great network of people. But what was it like maybe changing? And man, I would have a hard time convincing my kids to go sit on the bus an hour and a half. But the opportunities you get
are much
at your age now are much different than what you would
Yeah.
get here.
I think the school didn't matter too much because we were so close with everyone there that after school is the same routine every day. You're
Yeah.
out until, you can't stay awake anymore. Friday nights were the exact same routine.
Like we
So-
would finish school, sometimes go drop our backpack off, sometimes just go hang out with our friends, and we'd be out until like 7 o'clock or something, and then like we're at the clubhouse to get a drink, and then like we were really close with one of the ladies.
What kind of drink?
Like one of those orange.
Can you put this on Dad's tab?
Yeah.
And like my mom calls the clubhouse and she's like, if you see Nikolas and Violet, tell them to come home. And then she's like, oh yeah, guys, go home.
They're having one more.
which was kind of like a hybrid between home and here maybe. It wasn't apartment
There was
living.
a different atmosphere in there, but when you as soon as you enter, you're like, oh,
It wasn't Korea.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Like sometimes I'd go out to Daiso or something that was like down the street, and I'm like, am I in the same country?
Yeah.
Especially at that young age.
Yeah.
It was great, but it was just great while it lasted. You can never be like that, forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you gotta.
Well, it was a moment in time, man.
It was
You guys
great.
enjoyed it.
Definitely taught us a lot because I feel like my parents are very flexible, like just with us being late at night and out and stuff. But some of the parents, like even their kids who live there, they were same age as us, but they were like, no, I don't want my kid walking around like at 6 o'clock at night playing football or something.
Korea was safe and the compound was probably safer.
Yeah. We had guards and everything. We were all close.
Yeah.
So.
That's
it was a lot of good people there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was it was a great place.
It was fun while it lasted, for sure. And we met so many great people. We've seen when we travel to all these different countries.
We still keep in touch
almost
with them
always
and
see
everything.
someone. So
that's awesome.
From that time.
Yeah.
Is that more a parents thing or you guys? Do you stay in touch with
We do.
all the kids that you've gone to school with?
Obviously,
or is
they're
this
the
more...
ones who like arrange the travels and stuff. But some of the times, like when my mom's like, "Oh yeah, we're going to Germany." Like I had a friend who just moved back to Germany. And I'm like, "Can we go visit her?" And she's like, "Yeah, of course." So when we went, she lived in Dusseldorf, and I just spent the day with her.
Awesome.
Same for me. I had a friend from this school, which my parents didn't really know who he was, and I was like, "Okay, he's gonna come meet us." At this park, let's go get lunch together. And they're like, yeah, no problem.
Oh,
so we walked around the park, ate lunch.
Really nice. Really nice.
And they did the same thing. They had like adult friends that they saw. We were lucky because we
were
got
all
to stay with
close.
them.
Like the parents were friends, but they used to like hang out with us.
Because sometimes that's awkward bringing kids to meet my friends somewhere, and they're like, "Dad, what do we do here?"
Yeah.
No.
Play, dude. Whatever.
Yeah. Usually we know them by now.
We love it.
We gotta hang out with these guys. You guys play. But.
Yeah.
Especially in the compound, because like we'd be at the clubhouse on a Friday night, and like sometimes if the parents wouldn't let the kids out, we're just like sitting there talking with adults. Like we're 5-year-olds and we're just like sitting down with the orange juice, drinking or whatever.
Oh, that's funny.
But I think social media has helped keep in touch. Like now, we use that for everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when we have to plan stuff, how are you doing? And they're at the other side of the world. It's so convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Another benefit of being Gen Zer. That's on my bucket list to do a trip. I don't know if that would be with my wife or without, because she doesn't like just hanging out and seeing all these people I know, and she only knows people in Mugadon or something. But I'd like to go. I've been all over the world, and I'd like to go and meet all the people again in their home place or whatever, and playing hockey with engineers from Finland and Norway and Sweden and Italy and Czechia and America.
It's weird the connection you can make with. So, like I have friends from back home that I've known my entire life.
Yeah.
But you meet someone on vacation and you almost feel like a closer bond.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like you've been to war together or something.
We got messages from the same guy last week. U.S.A. Finnish guy, and
Finnish Flash.
We were always joking. We were in Thailand, weren't we?
Yeah.
And we just hung out for a week or something and became buddies, and then kept messaging and throwing old stories around or whatever. And here we are, like 15 years later, and still he says, "Hey, the Finnish guy won the Stanley Cup this year. My brother Timu retired." But anyways, and if we were in Finland, he'd say, "Come over."
Yeah.
And I said, "Hey, if you're going somewhere, come to Korea, man. You got a good."
Yeah, same for us. We just travel and
It's
we
cool,
meet someone.
eh?
It's really cool.
Yeah.
And you guys have done some extensive traveling. I mean, talking to your mom, when she was here, October, November, she came. She explained about some of your travel stories. What are some of the memorable places that you've been? Yeah, I mean, you've been a lot of places, man.
I think we're both gonna agree on
Thailand.
Qatar. We went to Qatar 2 years ago for the World Cup. That was by far the best trip we ever went on. It was during school, so we completely skipped 3 weeks.
Oh, nice.
We stayed with friends that
In
we'd known
Qatar that we met at the compound.
that we'd known for years.
Yeah.
And it was, I love football.
Magical.
So it was mind-boggling.
I was gonna say, was it Qatar or was it football, or was it Middle East?
I think it was both.
Middle East culture, or was it because you guys
I
went?
think it's.
We went to
that
Saudi
was-
Arabia too.
Saudi
that trip.
Arabia.
But that was the first time we'd ever gone to the Middle East.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't for a connection. Like, we had actually left the
Right.
airport.
That's.
And I think it was really cool because Qatar was definitely something different for FIFA. Like, there's not many places where it's hosted in that small of a country. And, like,
Right.
for us, we were lucky because we got to go to 2 games in one day, and like anywhere else in the world, you would have never been able to.
Cities
do
are
that.
10 hours apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Look at the next one. I mean, you got Mexico, Canada, and the States. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. Like we went to
You got
the
a
game, the
helicopter.
Korea-Ghana game, got on a bus, and went to the next game, like the Portugal-Uruguay or something.
Wow.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
The whole, all the roads were blocked off for like one
Yeah.
bus to go through. It was.
The
But
atmosphere is
it
incredible.
was so easy. It was
Yeah.
so easy.
And Germany was similar. It's not the same.
Yeah.
But Germany for the Euros was a similar, kind of football experience vibe, which I love so much.
Very cool. You mentioned Thailand. What was the?
That was more of like a, I don't know. We were, I don't even know what city we were. We were probably in Bangkok or something. But like, we were, how old were we? I was
We were so
probably
young.
6. He was probably 8 or something.
I don't even know how
And
she remembers it.
my parents were like, okay, we kind of want to go to a massage. And like, we weren't big on that.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, whatever, go to a massage. It was like late at night. They tucked us in, went to bed, whatever, and they went to a massage. And then all of a sudden, we hear something coming from the bathroom, and we're like, "What the hell is that?" We didn't have phones or anything,
Yeah.
and obviously we wouldn't have service. So he got his iPad, turned his flashlight on, and he's just looking, and the bathroom, the water from the toilet just starts to overflow.
Oh,
We're just
Christ.
like, what the hell's happening?
Some
And
random
so-
hotel in Thailand. I'm like,
yeah,
oh my god.
and it was it wasn't a sketchy hotel or anything. It was it was a hotel,
Yeah.
but just what's happening? So we're just staring at each other, and we're like, what if it floods or something? We don't know.
It's like Florida when the crocodile comes out.
So
There's an
him and
anaconda
I
there.
in our pajamas, probably in some Star Wars something pajamas, and I'm princess pajamas. We get in the elevator and we go down, and we're just trying to tell these people we're like, the toilet is overflowing,
Yeah.
and they don't understand, and so we're like, oh my god, we might actually need to do something.
Yeah.
And so we get back in the elevator, and this guy, he's holding a toolbox.
Yeah.
And we're just like, our bathroom's overflowing. Can you help us? So we took him to the hotel room and he fixed it. And then we got home and we turned the light off and everything, tried to go to sleep. My parents walked in and we jumped out of bed. We're like, Mom, the toilet was overflowing. We went downstairs, blah, blah, blah. And she's just like, what?
Oh,
It
that's
was-
wild.
It was crazy.
How can you forget that?
That
sounds like a pretty memorable-
Super
It was
young.
crazy.
I remember a lot of that.
That sounds like a pretty memorable
And
experience.
That's one of the reasons
Yeah.
why I didn't like Thailand the most. Just that was
My parents loved it, but us?
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah.
And you know what? I bet if your parents hadn't gone for a massage, the toilet would have been completely fine.
Yeah,
Exactly.
probably.
Nothing would have happened.
Probably.
Oh, that's incredible.
Are you as gung ho on football as he is?
Honestly, I wasn't that much into foot because we've been both playing football since we were 3. When we first got to Korea, my parents signed us up for Rising Stars, which was the club when we got here, and I was doing cartwheels around the field. I could not care less about football, and he was he was semi into it. He met a whole bunch of people. I didn't care. Got to ISB, I completely dropped football because they didn't have a girls team in elementary. So I was don't care. Got to middle school. Played it in 6th grade, started to get into it a little bit more, and then he really got into it when he started liking Ulsan.
Yeah.
And the Ulsan team. And I was like, yeah, this is kind of cool. And then we went to all these games, went to Qatar and everything, and I was like, this is amazing. So
Is this soccer or is this the atmosphere?
both.
Because my story's kind of similar, but you didn't like it before you got here?
I was younger, so I didn't really know what was going on.
Yeah.
Because I was a hockey guy, but I moved to West Africa and I lived in Ghana for a while, and there's nothing to do.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing they do is soccer. So I didn't have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And once I got there, and I was just an all-around, same as you guys. I played every sport there was, whatever. And then for these guys, it's like a religion.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a sport. It's a religion.
Mm-hmm.
They skip church. The only reason to skip church is for football.
Yeah.
Football's way more important than church. And that's when I started getting into it. I'm like, well, I got to support somebody because everybody does. And when the games are on, nobody does anything except listen to the radio. And if they score a goal, you jump in the back of a taxi or on the roof of a taxi and they drive up and down the street in the town. And I was like, there's only, 5,000 people in the town, but you drive up and down cheering in the taxis. And anyways, that's when I started it kind of appealed to me. But that was more for sporting events. And now when I go, World Cup qualifier, we were front row there last year. I got some sweet tickets. And it's just the atmosphere and the feeling. And if there's 50,000 people here cheering something, I want to feel like I want to be part of it. I don't want to miss it.
Yeah.
And I feel now for, if I was in India, we tried to go to a cricket match in India and it, I don't know, got canceled or something, or we couldn't get tickets. It was India, Pakistan, maybe. And so we ended up watching on TV in one of the pubs. That was the next best thing we do. I don't like cricket. I don't even know anything about cricket. But when in Rome, I mean, that's what you do. There's no hockey in Korea, so football's become kind of my thing here. Baseball, I don't like baseball's the boringest sport ever, but a Lotte Giants game is probably one of the most entertaining things you can get to that doesn't have violence or any fear factor to it where you got to be worried about hooliganism or something. It's just pure fun.
Yeah.
So for me, lots of those, and now it's just like I like big events. I like sporting events. Wherever I am, I'll try and find them.
Yeah.
And you guys have been to some of the biggest ones, so it's probably hard not to get caught up in the hoopla and stuff.
I think it's cool that you can still appreciate the big ones and you're still totally into the smaller ones too. Yeah.
But I was going to ask of all those ones, and I just see clips and videos here and there, but I wanted to ask you about the experience in Georgia in the streets, because that looked maybe a little bit different, or maybe you'd be more connected because of family and whatever else. But that looked maybe more special. I don't know. Maybe can you tell me about that?
Can you explain that to me a little bit? What was the
on their trip last summer?
Yeah.
So
when they went through parts of Eastern Europe and
we didn't
Georgia
really
national team
know
was playing.
because I didn't follow it too much. But Georgia was hosting like the U21 Euros.
Okay.
And so they never qualified for any major tournament ever.
Yeah.
But because you host it, you automatically qualify.
Yeah.
And they were in a group with like Portugal and Netherlands and
like all these other good teams.
And one other country. Exactly. And it's like everyone was like, okay, no way they're gonna like do anything. But you know, the Georgian fans, you know, because it was at home, you know, we marched to the stadium, and I met a friend, and
but like
he was
march to the stadium is not like that's the whole thing. Like you march to the stadium,
Exactly.
Like you don't do that.
Hundreds of
Yeah.
I mean, the Netherlands guys at Euros look like they had something
That
like
was
that
crazy.
going on, some dance or
Yeah.
something they were doing. And same thing, like if you were there, I'll wear an orange shirt and go do this in the street.
Yeah.
I mean, it is something you'll never forget, man.
Yeah.
And so you do that, then you get to the game, and you know you're just cheering, but you're not really. You know, we're playing Portugal here. Come on, you know, just don't get absolutely your ass handed to you. And then we scored, and it went crazy. But I didn't really know what was going on. Like, okay, Portugal, or maybe Georgia's like kind of good. Like, why are they going so crazy? Then we scored again, and we ended up winning that game 2-0.
Oh.
And the streets were absolutely insane. I'm like, what? I'd never seen it.
Yeah.
What is going on? And we ended up making out of that whole group. So we went to every single game. We made it out of the group. And then
And you were with some family, weren't you?
We were with some
we're
family,
with
my
my
grandma.
Yeah.
So I think she had a really good time.
Wow.
They ended up getting out in like the quarterfinals or something on penalties. But even after the game, they were still like cheering, and it was
Sure,
it was really
that's a heck of a run. Yeah.
Yeah. And then this year they qualified for the Euros. We
For
weren't
the first time ever.
Yeah, for the first time ever. They beat
They did well too, didn't they?
They did
Yeah,
really,
so they
really
beat
well.
Greece in the qualifiers on penalties right before they got there, and Greece had like won the whole tournament 20 years ago, so it was like, okay, you know, Georgia to their first Euros is gonna be crazy. And I had a Greek friend, and I was almost like, you know, I don't think Georgia are gonna do it. And he called me at like 3 o'clock to watch the game and get up. So I got up and I watched the game, and I was so invested. And somehow they won on penalties.
Yeah.
And a second later, I checked my phone and I like open Insta, and every single like major news, sports, anything is talking about this game in Georgia. And then you see videos of the streets going absolutely mad.
Sure.
And I was like, I wish I was there.
And you were there.
Or I've done that. I've
Right?
done
Yeah, and
that,
I was there.
What a connection to...
And then being in Germany and seeing all this happen, and like being at a pub when they just make it through to the round of 16, beating Portugal again 2-0.
Yeah.
But this
Like
time it was
we were at the sports bar, and like we had to watch this game, and like we went in early so we could get a seat and everything because it was a load of us.
Sure.
And then like my brother walks out so we could just go walk around for a few minutes. And this lady like in the car, and she has like the Georgia shirt on, and she's like talking to me. She's like, "Where are you going? You have to watch the game." And we had no idea who this lady was. And he's like, "No, we're just going and we're coming back." She's like, "Okay." So we were at the place. We all like they were on the big screen. They were showing like the Turkish game against Czechia, and we're like, "No, there's more Georgians here. Like we need to watch this game." So they put it on the big screen, and like the lady was sitting behind us, and then at the end we took a photo together, and we had no idea who this person was, but it was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Even at the stadium, like we were just walking around, and like we were just cheering or whatever, and we had the people next to us, and like my grandma was speaking Georgian to them, or they were like German people who had absolutely nothing to do with Georgia, but they had like a shirt and it just had the German flag and Georgia flag, and it was like a heart or something, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean, man. You meet someone randomly in a situation like that, you've got friends for life.
I think that's nice about kind of being from a small country like that. You know, if it was U.S., the expectations are already high, no one cares. But it's like a small team like Georgia, this is...
And if they win, there's going to be riots and guns and...
Yeah. So that's why, like, even like the president was like speaking about this team, and when they all came back, even when they came back, the streets were crazy. Like maybe you've seen videos when Argentina won the World Cup and how their streets were. That's what it looked like in Georgia and in the capital. Wow. They had like the massive square was full of people.
Like for hours.
And they hadn't even gotten past the round of 16.
Yeah.
But just the fact that they were there, it was amazing.
Kind of support. That's awesome. Really nice.
It was also good because like they're from a small country, right? But you know they have potential. It's just not many other people know that. And then when they get a chance to go to an international competition like this, and then everyone sees what they're capable of. Like our goalkeeper, he's amazing.
Yeah.
There were some strikers who played absolutely amazing, and some people who probably deserve more credit than they got.
Sure.
But like at least the world gets to see
Sounds
them,
like you're fully in on football now.
Yeah. And
That doesn't sound like it's half.
Yeah.
What, maybe you guys have had a little influence in the past trips from what your mom told us, but they kind of lead the way a little bit. If you guys could go out on your own and now adventure on your own, what kind of places are on your bucket list of to go?
I don't know. I really liked, actually, maybe because we just went there and I remember it a lot, but I really, really liked Germany. I don't know. Maybe it's because the Euros was happening, but it was different from what we usually go to, because a lot of the times we're on vacation and we're like, yeah, we're just going to go to the beach, hang out, do whatever. But like this, there was no beaches. We went to like a lake and we went canoeing with our friends for like a few hours. It was just like green grass for as far as you can see, and it was beautiful, and it was completely different from what
architecture's
we were used to.
deadly too.
Yeah. And the food was delicious. We had family, we met friends there. It was great.
That all
I go back to Germany any day.
It all adds to the experience, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Probably one country I've always wanted to go to has to be like Norway in the wintertime. It's just so beautiful.
You've been there, or you would like to go?
I would love to go there.
Yeah.
I've never been to Norway, but I have some friends from there, and you just see videos and it's like there's no way that this is a real place.
Yeah.
And so one day.
That's I want to go to Iceland.
Yeah, Iceland, same.
My sister went, and same. Everyone has rave reviews, and everything was just spectacular there.
Huh.
So if you had to go somewhere else, where would you?
I don't know. I
think she likes more beach countries.
Yeah, I really want to go.
Thailand.
I do want to go to Sweden, though. I do want to go to Sweden. Because I saw, like, their food is really delicious. I saw the people are really, really nice.
The food at IKEA, or?
There's Swedish meatballs in it.
No, I do want to go to Sweden. Yeah. I don't know. I think it'd be nice.
Nothing wild? I mean, you've been in Georgia. You've been in some wild kind of Eastern Europe countries. No South Central America. Africa.
We were, maybe.
My list was kind of like hit all the crazy countries first, so that when I'm older I can relax and do all the easy countries, because they're not going to get harder. But the less developed countries are the ones that change the fastest, and are the hardest to get to when you're older. And you can't have any kind of aches and pains and health issues when you're going to some of these wild places. So
I think we've been to so many now that's like I finished the rest. And then if anything happens, you could say you've done it all.
Yeah.
And then
And now you guys, with the newest news, you'll be moving back to America.
Yes.
Right, back to the melting pot. Being raised by American parents, going to an international school, you do have some American culture, I guess, or Western culture. But do you think about, I don't know if it would be reverse culture shock, or I mean you're used to a certain life here. Do you think it's going to be weird or different, and in which way when you go back?
Maybe before answering that, how American do you think your lives are here?
Oh.
Because I think even we can try and be Canadian in some ways, maybe in our house order, but we're not Korean, but our life is Korean.
Yeah.
But you guys are a little bit different. So maybe how American is your life here? Are you eating Korean food all the time?
Yes.
Are you?
I think the most American
because that will determine how much reverse culture shock you're going to get going back to hot dogs and burgers. But
I think the most American thing is the language.
Yeah, we speak
literally
English
just
at home.
speaking English.
That's it. Like we go out to dinner, we don't go to chain. Like we're not trying to go to like steakhouses. We're trying to go to like Korean barbecue.
But the difference there will be going home. You unconsciously hear and understand everybody.
That's the thing.
And I don't like that going home. Like I don't want to hear all your problems and whining and stuff. Send me to Korea where I don't. I have to. If I want to listen, I got to turn the ears on. But if I don't want to, you guys can blab away on the bus, in the shopping mall, bank.
Yeah,
I don't have to listen to you.
I talk about this so much actually every time we travel, because just even traveling anywhere where they're not speaking Korean and you hear a little bit of English is like, what are you even talking about? Like, that is so weird. I don't want to hear that. And I think that's going to be weird about going back to the U.S.
Let's get those iPod.
Yeah.
What do you call it?
The AirPods.
AirPods, that's what I meant.
So outside of English at home,
I think
more
we have
Korean-esque?
some like American traditions. Like when it comes like Thanksgiving, every Thanksgiving we do a big,
Holidays.
we do a big dinner.
Especially us, like, I don't know. I don't think it's big in Korea because a lot of the times they don't do like big family parties. Like every Friday night, you wouldn't see families go out together. But like with us, we have people over almost every Friday night. Like our neighbors, they're Korean.
Yeah.
They lived in Saudi Arabia, but we have them over all the time. Our neighbors who are fully Korean and they just happen to speak English, like we have them over, and it's like something completely new to them. They're like, do you do this every weekend? We're like, yeah, we do it every weekend.
Well,
I try sometimes, and my wife wonders why we have trying to have people over. Like, what? We don't do that.
Yeah.
They like to meet outside, right?
Yep.
Like inviting someone in your house.
Exactly.
is kinda
Our house is
Too
the nicest.
private, and they're too small to. You feel like you're inviting them into your bedroom, kind of, because the places aren't that big. So
I think that won't change when we go back to the U.S.
Yeah.
That's probably going to stay the same as long as we can, find a nice group of friends.
to hang with. Yeah, that's awesome.
I think that was also something that came from the compound, like having people
for
over.
sure.
Yeah.
Like when we were in the compound, we also lived in an apartment, but we would always have people over, like people who were from my dad's work, people who were just my mom's
or
friends.
the clubhouse was
clubhouse,
always
Yeah,
open
it was
and
always
available.
open.
It
We
was
had a
very
banquet
social.
room.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was very.
Yeah, honestly,
amazing.
I can't say I've been to most of my friends' house in the compound because you don't go home. You go out to the pool or to the park.
The only time we were really at their house was when we were like having a sleepover or something.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what the inside of their houses look like. Now most friends I know what their house looks like. Now the hangout spots. At home, video games, something like that.
Yeah.
So what do you expect? Back to his question there about reverse culture shock or going home.
I hope Steve keeps up with the barbecuing.
Yeah, definitely.
Jeez, Louise.
He will not
He
stop
wanted to
that.
take his, but my mom, she's not going to let him take that rinky dink
We're
thing.
leaving the barbecue, unfortunately.
No, you got to get the
Listen, I've
Yeah,
never.
we're gonna
Florida.
Weber.
the Trump sanctioned Weber authorized barbecue for Florida.
After visiting a couple of the barbecues that your parents hosted, like I go to my class and we always say, "Hey, how was the weekend?" Blah blah. I'm like, man, I watched an American guy grill for like 7 hours straight and feed everyone. They're like, that's impossible.
And
Like,
jumped
no,
into the water twice, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Man, the first time I went, it just, I mean, Koreans eat a lot of meat and whatever when they go for barbecue, but I remember you grilling for hours and hours and hours, and your dad's like, yo, look in the bag, see what's left. And I looked, I was like, there's 75 sausages on there. He's like, throw them on. We put them on.
Yeah,
Dude.
that's
he goes, go put it on the kids' table. And they were gone in 2 minutes, man.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's hilarious.
He has an order now, too. He's like, all right, sausages first to get the kids to shut up, and then I'll go to the chicken or something.
The funniest is when we get there and it's like everyone put up the tables, whatever, and his job is literally just to like get the barbecue ready while my mom like lays out the meat in the order on the stuff that he's barbecuing on, and he's like, okay, next, move it over, next, and he just keeps going.
Oh, wonderful.
I think because we go back to the U.S. so much, it's not going to be too
shocking.
Too shocking.
Yeah.
But it's very different when you live there.
Right.
Sure.
I think
The
even in
day-to-day.
Korea, like just traveling domestically in Korea, you see a place that's like, okay, this is cool, but I think I can never live here. There's just not much to do in this, little village, for example. So I think it's gonna be like something like that in the U.S. where you're from there, but it's still gonna, and you go back, but it's gonna be different living.
Do you know where you're going to?
Yeah, Florida, Panama City.
Panama City.
Panama.
Is that up north?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like some of the most north. It's north.
More north.
West.
There's the other places in Florida.
Yeah.
It's northwest, so it's not like by Tampa.
It's next to Alabama.
Yeah.
Right
Pretty
next to
much.
Alabama.
None of the major sports.
Yeah.
No, nothing.
Not Miami.
No, that's
Yeah, I had a
probably one
big
of the
problem
more
about
negative stuff.
that. Actually, I had a lot of
You're in the state. You'll be all right.
sleepless
Yeah.
nights thinking, who do I support now? Like, is it the Dolphins? Is it the Buccaneers?
Get a pink shirt.
Jacksonville? Do I go to college football? Do we go to basketball? So we still haven't really decided yet. My dad loves college football, so we may just become Alabama
I was
fans.
gonna say college. Yeah, college would be and they're wild. I mean,
Yeah, you can't go wrong with college football.
college anything.
Yeah.
I grew up college hockey in Minnesota and Wisconsin and stuff, and you can never go wrong with college
Yeah.
sports.
I think another thing is like now that we're old enough to understand like the cultural differences from America to here, even when we go back or like when we're out with dinner, like with my dad's coworkers, they're always asking us because I think it's interesting that like we live overseas and we've lived here for so long that we have a more Korean lifestyle than we do an American one, and they're like, is it weird for you when we go back? And they're like asking all these questions. And I'm like, I never really thought of that, but now I kind of start to think of it. Yeah. And like their weekends aren't usually the same as ours. Like we wouldn't go, maybe they probably wouldn't go running a 5K marathon and then go out and get like
every
Korean
weekend.
soup
Yeah,
weekend.
Yeah.
Like with just random people you met or friends you've known for years. Like
wow. Yeah, I just ran 5K.
No, I mean there's
tofu.
there's some that you can understand and already envision, but there's lots that'll be very, very, very different. I mean, even just being in Florida. Mm-hmm. I mean, Florida is unique compared to all the other states in its own way. I mean,
living in a house would be cool.
Yes,
that would
we're
be
excited
cool.
for that.
Cool. Definitely.
A yard.
Yeah.
Cut the grass.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said if you travel to a Korean village, there might be not anything to do. There might not be enough stuff to keep you busy or whatnot. A critique that comes from your generation of Korean kids, maybe a little bit older too. They're like, "Oh, Ulsan sucks. Ulsan sucks. Nothing
no
to do.
jam, no jam,
no jam. Yeah, no jam." How would you guys evaluate Ulsan? And I mean, you guys are on the east tail of Ulsan.
Yep.
How would you evaluate Ulsan as a city as a whole?
No, my friends are the same way. Like every time I invite them to Ulsan, like Ulsan, like why don't you come to Busan? Look how much it is to do here.
Yeah.
Like, we have a beach. Ulsan,
we have a beach too.
We
have like 2 beaches.
We have. We have like PC bangs. We have PC bangs too. We have bowling alleys. We have bowling alleys. It's like I could probably live in Donggu the rest of my life if I had to.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
It's perfect. There's a mountain. Like we have Yeomposan, which we do hike occasionally.
You have 4 seasons every single year.
Yeah.
So
we have a
you get
beach.
a bit of everything.
Massive home plus. Bowling alleys. We love screen baseball. We're gonna miss that so much in the U.S.
Here, just like transportation, everything.
Sure.
It's what I tell my uni students, and they say, "Oh, no jam, no jam." Okay, I'm the biggest ambassador for rules. I think it's the best city in the country, and I can argue with anybody. The pluses and minuses, I think this is a net plus compared to many other cities that people would argue for. But what do you have in Busan? What's in Seoul that we don't have here?
Yeah,
exactly.
Everland. Are you going to go to Everland and wait 3 hours for one ride on the Viking? Mm-hmm. That's what you miss? You could go to Gyeongju World,
yeah, exactly.
45 minutes away, and go on the Viking 55 times for half the price.
Exactly.
Oh. Okay, next. What's next? There's no arguments, man. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Most people cannot. The university students now, they tell me there's no pop-up stores here. There's a New Jeans pop-up store at Hyundai Department Store, whatever, in Busan. But that's not worth the hassle of the people and the crowdedness and the
traffic in Busan.
I think a lot of them like it because it's like a big tourist destination. Like they focus stuff on tourists, but it depends where you come from. Because a lot of our friends, they're not like. I have friends who've lived in Korea for years, and it's not that they don't like Korea, but like they won't go out for Korean food. They don't eat Korean food. Some of them don't even know how to use chopsticks, and they've lived here longer than me.
Oh Lord, that's not.
And
that's not
I think it's just it depends where you come from. It depends like the family,
Sure.
but. And there's some people who don't really want to adjust to it, adjust to the lifestyle.
100%.
Like my dad has coworkers who move here, and then they're all like, I just can't live here.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how to live here. And then we're just like, you kind of have to like be a little open-minded. You know, It's not going to be like where you came from.
Being open-minded, wow, that's
what a concept.
That'll get you a long way in life.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
you open it up a little bit.
But I think the most
part of
important
it's also like the grass is always greener.
Exactly.
Except those guys in Busan that don't want to come here. But the guys in Ulsan, someone told them it's the countryside, and they just full on accept that it's the countryside, so they want to go somewhere else. But failing to explore what they have to offer here, there's so much here.
But something
I
that
agree. Ulsan is the best city in Korea.
Definitely.
But what adds to that too, and it's something that your parents have figured out, and I've come to learn. It's who you surround yourself with too. You need the essentials. You don't want to live in the middle of nowhere, and but. It's who you surround yourself with. Your parents are, good ambassadors for that, man. They bring people together, hosting the 7-hour barbecue cook-offs there, and and it's good, and it brings community together, and that sweetens the experience for everyone.
I think it's also like how far you're willing to go to like enjoy yourself.
Sure.
Because like my mom, we have people who we invite out all the time, and they're like, no, I don't really want to come out today. No, I don't really come. And it happens often. I'm like, if that's what you want to do, do that. But you're not going to enjoy it if you don't put yourself out there.
We see it all the time here. There's nothing to do. What do you like doing? Playing chess? Start a chess club.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, if you start it and other people like chess, you'll have your own chess club. You'll be able to do what you want. You don't have to go to Busan to play chess.
Exactly.
And it just takes people having a little bit of initiative, which it sounds like you guys have, and is a great attribute to be able to take action and do stuff and make it happen. Because if you sit around waiting, I've had no problem anywhere, and if something wasn't happening in Ghana or wherever else I've been, I just make it happen.
Exactly.
Then they got nothing to complain about. So,
something I'm very interested to ask you guys about social media for your generation. We talked a little bit earlier, but my introduction to social media was Facebook when it was only for university students. This was to connect with your classmates, and then obviously it's grown into what it is today. You mentioned earlier you have no problem turning off your phone when you go home at night. What is social media to you guys now? How is it just a means of communication for overseas friends? Is it doom scrolling on the bus ride home? Is it both? How do you use it? We'll start with Violet.
For me, it's definitely communication.
Yeah.
Like, not only my overseas friends, but also like friends who live in Busan. Because a lot of them, they don't go out unless somebody tells them to. Like, I don't even live there, and like any weekend I go, I'm like, let's hang out, and then I'm there and we're all hanging out, and I was like, do you guys hang out on weekends? They're like, no, not really.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can literally pick up your phone, message each other, and walk across the street. And you're like already next to each other.
Sure.
And I think social media is great. Depends how you use it, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are not many times where we're just doom scrolling because we really don't have the time.
Yeah.
Like, we're barely ever home. Like, my grandma, she always calls me, and I'm always like, I love that you call me, but you always call me when I'm out of the house. She's like, because you're always out of the house. Like, you're never home.
But part of that is also maybe the structure put in place by the parents. Because I would say a lot of my students don't have time to be doom scrolling either, but that's all they do.
You don't have to be home to be doom scrolling either.
Instead of their homework, instead of their part-time job, instead of becoming independent. So I would say a lot of people don't have time to be doom scrolling, but it's how it's introduced, it's how the guidelines, rules are set in the house, it's what the expectations are. And I understand you guys have decent expectations for grades in school and whatever else, for traveling and events and stuff. So if you don't have that, there's no repercussion to doing doom scrolling, so you do it.
I think that was definitely something, like, a lot of, as much as I don't like always being busy with like school and sports and travel and everything, it's definitely taught me a lot about like discipline. Like, when I get home, phone away, doing the work, because I know, like, if I put it on hold for the weekend, I'm not going to get to it because the weekend's busy. Like, or it's
all you'll be doing on the weekend because you won't be busy.
Everything
gets canceled.
Or like, I just come home from school and I just finished sports and I'm like, I really don't want to do this. But then if it lays over tomorrow, I'll have more work, and it just keeps going. And then when it comes to like a few days where we have off, like just for a weekend or like a long weekend or something, instead of hanging out with my friends, I'll be sitting home doing homework. And that's not really my ideal weekend. So.
Well, that's very American of you. 'Cause I know the mindset at home is, why put off until tomorrow what you can do today. But I met Eastern European friends in Thailand. He's like, I don't know why you guys do that. We always say, why would I do it today when I can do it tomorrow? So do you guys have in your school, is there any education for kind of healthy social media consumption?
We have a few like homeroom classes that are just based around like being a good digital citizen.
Okay.
And it's not too heavily focused on, because I don't think it's a like problem in our school. I think everyone's pretty good with social media use.
Are they focusing on like
how not to be a bully or how much to use your phone?
Yeah.
It's a bit of everything, but mostly it's focused on like how you choose to use social media.
Okay.
And because I feel like a lot of the parents don't really put it in place, especially with Korean kids. Like, you see them all the time with their phones and stuff. Like, we were going to the game yesterday. We were getting picked up to go to the soccer game, and this kid's like in his phone crossing the street, and there's like this car coming. He didn't even look.
Oh, I see it every time.
Like, he didn't even care. And my parents got so worried. Like, my dad was about to run into the road and be like, there's a car coming, right? And this kid had no idea. He was completely oblivious.
Yeah.
But I think... Yeah, I think
they don't even put their heads up to look anymore.
Yeah,
That's why they got those lights flashing on the floor.
Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't even phase them. Like they need a shocker or something. When you step over that line and it's red, you got to get a bzzz. Oh shit, it's red. they don't even realize anymore. And it's getting younger and younger and younger. It's wild.
Nicholas, what about you? How do you use the phone?
I think for, like she said, for keeping in touch, I think I use Instagram for everything. I guess now, if I didn't have it, like half my friends, I'd have no idea where they are anymore. Which is great. That's how when I met my friend in Germany, that's how we talk about everything, and we're really close. I also use it like sports. I think it's great to like sports kind of news and stuff. It's great to like talk to other people and kind of get their opinions too. Like similar how like Twitter used to be, but I don't really use Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. So I use Instagram for that. Like follow sports pages, and you're in like little chats and groups. And you just talk about it.
Cool. Do you think you consume too much? I used to watch Sportsnet 11 o'clock before bed, get the day's highlights package. I didn't have time to watch all the games, but it was get all your stuff done 11, sit down, watch, and then go to bed.
Yeah.
But now, I still love sports, and we play fantasy and this and that, and I feel like I'm reading about like Tom Brady's dog, and why do I have to find all this? I don't care about all this stuff. But the news comes faster on social media than it does in the TV stations because they have to produce it. It comes out on here the minute it happens, so it's easier to get on here. It's more accessible. You get way more than you would.
They filter out the bullshit for the 11 o'clock.
Exactly. So I definitely agree. Like sometimes I'll like read an article, and it's like this article won't matter tomorrow because who cares? Like maybe it's like some kind of preview for a game.
Yeah.
Which I love reading that stuff or like reviews after it. But I'm like, maybe I just waste like. It's not going to change what happens whether I know it about it or not. Right?
That's a good.
I find like something like the draft.
Yep.
I'll start clicking on NBA guys from Sudan or Rwanda. And well, now I'm just curious. I want to hear this guy's backstory, kind of. Where I never would have had any idea. You would say Manute Bowles drafted number 2. That's it. Never hear another thing. So I find I consume way more because I love sports, and there's so much.
Yeah.
I think it's also cool to see where people came. Like, there's a really good side to that. Like, especially with the sports world, like, you have all these people who have big names and everyone knows them because they're such good football players or basketball players. But you don't really know, like, where they came from, how they came
Nobody
about.
highlights that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just how many points, how many trophies, how many wins.
Speaking of trophies, sorry.
Yeah, I like to, I think I filter out now, like, what I actually want to see. But usually before I go to sleep, I'll, like, check on an app I have. It's called the Score app, and it shows me like all the major sports that happen like the day. Or so I'll wake up and I'm like, okay, there's this game going on. Maybe I could find a time to watch a few minutes of this start my day. Or like at school in a boring class, all right, I'll put this hockey game on. Watch this. Oh, okay, it's the baseball playoffs. So I'll watch the Yankees right now.
Yeah.
And then before I go to sleep, I'm like, oh, nice, the Yankees won. Oh, Islanders still suckers. So
cool, man.
I filter out what I watch.
Well, it sounds like you guys both have very healthy social media habits. That's good. Yeah. It saddens me, man, to see how many kids are just, like you said, totally lost in their phone and missing just missing the world around them. Yeah. When you're buried in this,
you're starting to come back though. I think.
I hope
there's more and more countries that have banned social media till 16. Now some of the Scandinavian countries are banning till 18.
Well, Canada just put in some new phones in schools. I don't know why that's a thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
So it kind of went all the way this way, and it feels like it's kind of coming back because there's so much research out now on these kids and how detrimental it is to every aspect of their life.
I worry most about your demographic, about the young girls who are looking on Instagram, and every picture is just at the right angle. And there's some girls too who are like, this is really me. Now watch my special pose with the angle and the light, and you're like, wow, it's a totally different person. And it's, I think at a young age, like you guys, it's hard to kind of distinguish reality from, and if that's being shot into your brain every day, you might,
Somebody was on yesterday saying, we kind of came of age when the internet just came out, and it was kind of like a new thing to look and research and crowdfund, and it was kind of like a positive thing, where now the internet's kind of just like this pit of evil.
Yeah.
You can do good, but so many people are just going straight down in this spiral. And they said, you have this generation going through puberty where your parents have provided the phone. the parents work, you don't see your parents, and this is this, age where you're so susceptible to influence. And now you have a whole bunch of strangers online influencing your kids through these critical years, and the parents are nowhere to be found. And like, would you ever just let some random Joe, stranger, creeper, whatever, influence and choose the path for your kids? Because that's what's happening. And they just said how tragic it is that we're going to lose a whole generation of youth who were raised not by their parents. Who are raised by every minute of their day outside of when they can't have it is on their phone. And they were talking about healthy habits and no phones. Phones are only allowed in the living room and all this stuff. The one podcast guy goes, can you imagine a 14-year-old guy with a phone in his room? I'd never leave my room. And I was like, yeah, it's crazy. I can't, I'm glad I got girls. I can't imagine. It'd be the biggest fight of your life. I mean,
I think like one of the main things, especially we were saying with like the young girls my age and the influence and stuff, a lot of those people who are really into like those whole following the influencers and everything are people who are into social media from a young age. Like me and my brother, he didn't start using it till a few years ago. I didn't start using it till like a few months ago, like really using it. And I feel like because of that, like you see things online, but then like since we understand the world a little more and we're like not digging our phones, we're like, yeah, but that's not possible. Like obviously there was something that changed a little bit, but it's also good because like then you could get influenced and you're like, oh, that's really cool. Like I didn't know that you could do that in the gym and it all helps like this, right? And a lot of the times like we're very, very grateful that our parents, like my mom, she can't work here, and it's upsetting because maybe she wants to and like she could do like a little more or she feels like she could do more, but it's also really good because it's definitely something that we have that we enjoy. Like on break now, like I'm going to the gym with my mom in the mornings and she's able to go to yoga and hang out with her friends, and it's completely different from what it could have been if we still lived in America.
If mom was working.
If mom was working.
You mentioned the other day something about the value of a stay-home mom. What was you worked out
hundreds of $100 and something thousand a year if you were going to work full time and pay for childcare, cleaning, ordering food instead of cooking food, all these things. If you took them in reason that you can't let your house just go to shit, you have to take care of it. This, and it was a stay-at-home mom is worth $100 and something thousand a year.
I think it's different because like my mom, when she was younger, both her parents were working, but social media wasn't crazy back then. So she learned to like take care of herself. Like some of the most random things, like cooking, obviously, but like I'll be doing my nails and like they completely suck, and she does her nails and I'm like, how'd you learn to do them? She's like, well, mom was never home to do it, so I had to teach myself. But it was just like all these little things that added up, and I'm like, if that was in this time with all these social media, it would not be the same. It'd be completely different.
Do you think moving home will have any impact on your consumption?
I don't think so, because I don't think moving back will make our parents any less productive, which means busy weekends all the time and still school and stuff and hopefully sports. And I think the sports might be harder in America just because everyone's so like into it and been playing it in school. So we might try and go for like club sports, which also will be time consuming, but it'll keep us busy.
Like house league sports? Club sports?
Real, like hardcore.
Just like playing in a club.
Cool.
Trying to play in a club.
One of the biggest things, I've sent a few kids to Montreal for hockey, and I have a friend there who runs a hockey academy, and he said one of the biggest things now is just having a clean profile. These guys want to get an NCAA scholarship, this, that. So now they got like 4 or 5 accounts. One's for their friends, one's to show whatever. But you can't avoid it now. Like they'll find your other 4.
Yeah.
And part of the thing is not just teach them how to play hockey. It's how to teach them how to be a good person.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to post that dick pic or whatever of your buddy or whatever it is, and you're sewered. Nobody's going to take you now.
Yeah.
And he just said that's the biggest problem they have now is trying to help these guys understand that whatever stupid thing you do this weekend means you can't go on the scholarship to the States next year. That's it. And it's hard. You see great potential just completely vanish because they're not. They don't know better. And nobody's taught them better. So it's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Do you guys have your sibling bond? Like I have a boy and a girl as well. From when you were young until now. like you guys seem pretty close, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Around this age, you don't feel like you hate each other. That's my biggest
No,
worry.
I think when we were younger, it was like the worst. But even that wasn't that bad. Like my mom has videos of us like arguing or whatever. But it's all for fun. Like 20 minutes later, we forget. But like, especially back to the social media thing, I have a lot of friends and like they all have siblings, and I'm just like, so how's your weekend? Yeah, it was good. Whatever. What'd you do? Did you hang out with your sibling? They're like, no. I'm like, oh. They're like, what'd you do? I was like, I went to go play soccer with my brother for a few hours. They're like, why? Because I can hang out with my brother. But like, I'll be asking them, I'm like, what'd your siblings do this weekend? They're like, they stayed in their room. We didn't talk to each other. But like, they won't even have like conversations with their family. Like, my mom will not let us eat dinner unless everyone's sitting at the table together as a family.
But that's old school, man. And I think your friends are the more normal thing these days.
Yeah.
It's awful that they can't talk to each other. You're in your room on your phone there. You're in your, hey, Mom, do we have any milk in the fridge?
Exactly.
Get off your ass and go check. Or
exactly.
You don't have to message Mom. So this is old school values, and it's kind of, I think, what we try and instill in our kids, because that's how we were raised, and this new stuff is appalling. It's awful that you can't have that. We had the same thing, Sunday dinners growing up, and you could work part-time, but you couldn't work on Sunday evenings. That was just the rule. Work every other day of the week, whatever you want. This is our time for family, and that's it.
Yeah. And like, they're like a few meters like across the room. You just get up, open the door, and your siblings. Yeah. Like, it's the least you could do. Hang out with them for a few hours.
Sure. 100%.
But when you're roped into that phone, man, and this is the problem. It's toxic.
The worst is I have classmates that have, siblings who graduated. And there was one that I asked him, like, where's your brother going to go to school now? And he's like, I don't know. Like, where do you apply? He's like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the worst.
You guys don't talk about that?
No, it's like, this is going to be you in 2 years. You're not like a little bit curious. How'd your brother do on his tests? I don't know.
It's weird.
Or it's like, all right, where's your brother now? I don't know.
Yeah. Or like, I asked one of my friends a while ago because his brother, like, he's starting to finish college now. And I was like, so what does he plan on doing? Because he studied engineering. And I was like, what do you plan on doing? He's like, I have no idea. I was like, but you live with him.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not know? He's like, I don't know. He doesn't really leave his room, and he's like playing games. And that's another thing. Like, none of us play video games.
Why not? Because I don't play either. And I was just, sports and everything else was too fun.
Yeah, I think it started from just when we were raised. But even then, like, we always started with the Wii U. Well, actually, we started with the Nintendo DS.
Yeah.
And still, I was like, a bit boring. Like, obviously, I'd rather go outside and just hang out with friends. And then we got a Wii U. You're into it for a little bit, and it's like, okay, actually, this is pretty boring.
Mm-hmm. And that's, I bought the Sega Genesis, and that's something I grew up with in, like, the early 90s, right? And the good part about those games is that, like, you die, and then you have to, like, start back at the beginning of the game. And it's kind of defeating. You're like, oh, god damn it, I'm not doing this again. You turn it off. It's easy. It's easy to unplug from it. But I mean, you get into computer games now. You're respawning in 8 seconds, and everything's bop bop bop.
I think another thing is like the fact that you can just have it on your phone and like have it in your pocket every single hour of the day, and just pull it out whenever you're bored.
I've said it before, man. I got sucked in like trying to connect with one of my young students. He wouldn't talk about anything, but I found that he had a Jurassic Park game that he loved. So I was like, I'm going to download it, learn a little bit about it. And dude, I'd wake up in the night, like go pee, and I'll be like, oh fuck, I gotta hatch these eggs quick. Yo, T-Rex, go eat some, go eat some shrubs. I gotta grow you for my fight tomorrow.
Yeah, it's funny because I have a like my Korean friends, they love the PC games.
Yeah.
And there's this one guy. He's I see like I wake up and I see a story on his Instagram from 2 hours ago of the sunrise, and I'm like, shouldn't you be sleeping? Just the caption's like, I did it again. I know you didn't just stay up all night playing like that one game, and now your whole weekend is like absolutely screwed up, your sleep schedule. And it's like every few days, and I talk about with my other friends, like, have you seen this guy at all this whole summer? He's like, no, he's in his room playing.
He had
video
friends
games
over yesterday after the game, and like we were up very early, but none of us were on the game. Some of his friends were sleeping, but like we were just hanging out. It was like 12 o'clock in the morning. We went to go get chicken because we were hungry. Like, we got home and we were all hanging out, but like none of us even like looked at a device for most of the time. We were just like hanging out, and it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. My parents are sleeping, but we're just all like sitting there talking. They're doing their own thing. I'm doing my own thing with like some of the people that were my age. And it was fun, but none of us had a device, like, in hand.
That story was the same as mine.
Yeah.
We got the first Nintendo, whatever, the first Nintendo after, like, the third version of Nintendo 64,
Super Nintendo.
Super, whatever. We got the first one, like, 3 years after it came out. And we have 5 kids, and we played it for 2 days, and we're like, this is stupid. Let's go back outside.
Yeah.
And just never got into it. I thought it's cool what he did there, playing with his kids, a little nostalgia, this, that, whatever. But
Oh, it was mostly me playing. Guys, watch this. Right?
Yeah. Now I'm better than you now at this game.
Yeah, just zero interest.
Yeah.
The ones that got me were like during when we had the baby, and the baby was up all night. That stupid Any Pong. Do you remember Any Pong?
Yeah.
That shapes or candies line them up, or one
Candy
of those
Crush?
stupid Candy Crush.
Okay.
Like that.
Oh, dude.
And everybody in North
Candy.
America was playing it, and I was like, your dad just got 600 points. Your mom got a new record.
Dude, that's a Jurassic Park thing. Like,
And then I was
35
like-
minutes till you power up to your
But I was getting up with the
dinosaur.
kid crying in the middle of the night, and I was like, well, I got to sit here anyways with the baby. I might as well do something. There's no one to message or call or anything. I get on that stupid fucking.
Yeah.
It's like a world champion. Get me out of here.
But it is about learning to it. I mean, we didn't have any education about it, right?
Yeah.
So it's about learning and
About a year ago, I started like organizing get-togethers with like my classmates, and we'll usually spend all night out. Like we'll go to dinner, and they'll end up at someone's house at like 2:00 after like bowling at the beach or something, karaoke. And I'm always like, I have dinner especially, but like I have like a rule, like you're not allowed to use your phone at the table at all.
good for you. Yeah.
And they know it now. Like this one guy.
What happens if they do?
I just take it like for the rest of the night, or they just don't get invited the next time. There's this one guy who moved to a Jeju school, and I was sitting next to him, but I wasn't really paying attention to him. And there was someone else at the other end of the table who was like, "Nick, look at him. He's on his phone." And now they all know too. I'm like, "Yo, you gotta get rid of
Nice,
it."
good for you. You know what? Don't stop that either, man.
Yeah,
That's
even on the table, like, just get it out.
I think, and he probably learned that at dinner. Like, my mom's the same thing. You cannot have your phone near the dinner table because there's no need.
What are you doing?
We used to have it. Don't answer, even when the phone rings at dinner. Before you guys were too young, but when the phone was over there and it rang, everybody's like, "Jump up and get it! I wonder who's calling."
Yeah.
It's like, no, nobody answers the phone at dinner time.
We were in Gyeongju a couple weeks back, and literally we walked. It was surreal, man. We walked into the restaurant and looked around. We're like, every single person in this restaurant. There's probably 40 people. Every single person was on the phone.
Yeah.
It looked like a movie. Like, are we the only ones not looking down?
Yeah.
What the hell is going on? No one talking.
Yeah.
It was wild.
The 1 or 2 times I am with my friends and we're all on our phones, and maybe I stop for something, like scratch my head or whatever it is, get off my phone, and I actually realize like we're all just like
Zombified,
robots.
man. Yeah.
I'm like, guys, let's just get off our phones. Like, this is crazy.
Good for you. Advocate and don't feel weird about doing that, man. Break your friend's balls. Tell them what's up. But anyways, listen. I got one last question, or maybe Nate. I suggested it yesterday, but I think you articulated it.
Well, before that,
okay.
I want to ask Violet about her bracelets. There's too many there to not have a story. You gotta tell me a story there with all that.
I have a whole bunch. Just added a few to the collection. Got one from the Euros. They're mostly just, I don't know. I have bracelets that I wear, and then some that I'm just like, yeah, I like this, and then I take it off a few weeks later. But these are like my go-to ones. I don't know. I have some for my friends, my aunt. Is
there a limit to how many can fit on there?
Oh God, no! I've had way more than I have on here.
Yeah?
Yeah, but I don't know. I think they're just like little memories I like to carry around with me on my wrist.
What about these 2 special ones over here?
I don't know. I just recently got these from one of my friends. So. Yeah.
Do they ever come off?
I have to take them off when I play sports.
Okay.
So it's a little bit annoying.
That's why you go so early.
2 hours
in PE, like I'm just walking to my class, like the PE class, or like I'm 5 minutes into my previous class, and like I'm just taking off my bracelets, and my teacher's like, "Violet, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I have PE next period. I gotta get them off."
Well, it's worse when they break on the ice or the court or whatever. Because we used to have them. I used to have some with those shell.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And I was fighting in hockey, and he grabbed me here, and I grabbed him there, and it just shells everywhere. And the ref's like, "You're an idiot. What are you doing?"
It's good tactics.
Beads and shells all over the place. And, it's better to take them off.
Yeah.
I wore a bracelet once that a friend gave me, and I was playing football with it. And like the one time I stand in the goal to block a volley, It's right here, and the whole thing goes spreading everywhere. Never wearing a bracelet again.
Nothing worse.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And then it's like, should I pick them up? Do I want to keep it? Is it important?
No.
Oh my God, everyone's
Pretend it
laughing
wasn't
at
yours.
me.
Yeah.
What do I do here?
All good times.
You might have to lead me into that. I
Just, yeah.
kind of blanked a little bit here.
Yeah, this is going to be the last one. A little kind of shout out to your parents. We're parents of young kids, and we look at how well your parents have raised you. They've done a wonderful job. You guys came here and held court there for almost 2 hours.
Thank you so much.
And you know, and a lot of it can be attributed to your parents and the environment that they've raised you in. Right? Is there anything any message for mom that you want to drop an hour and 50 minutes? Because you know she's going to listen to every minute of this, right? anything you guys want to say to your parents?
Not much. Thank you for everything. Hope moving's not too stressful. Movers come in a few weeks, but it'll be all good as long as we're together.
Sure.
At the next place we go.
Awesome.
I guess mine's gonna be for my dad. He has been very busy since we've been to Korea. He's always working weekends, and he's worried a lot about what's he gonna do in Florida.
Yeah.
Just the work is gonna be so much easier.
Yeah.
And I think this is perfect for you now to literally just relax.
Yeah.
You don't have to stress
sweat it.
anymore. And we can go out on the weekends and drive to Alabama and go watch a college football game. Mm-hmm. And so don't stress about it. It's gonna be good, and thank you for everything. As well.
Solid. All right, I'm gonna go cry in the back, and we'll. Do you want to wrap it up? Anything else?
No. Thanks a lot for coming. I've always kind of wondered if we could do a youth series, because I just think hearing the voices of tomorrow is kind of important, and we always get kind of leaders or people who are unique or artsy or whatever and have their own talents and stuff. But I think there's a lot of youth that have cool things to say, and that sometimes our generation doesn't listen to those voices, and I think they're important to hear. And we now, as our kids are getting old, they're not old enough to do something like this yet, but we do have connection or access or are connected to people around your age. And I always think I would love to get them in, but you have to walk a fine line. I think you guys are very independent, and like you said, you can hold court no problem here, but parental approval and this, and is this okay or was that okay? And it's just kind of too touchy maybe to get into, but I'm really glad you guys came, and maybe it can
Took a bus across town, man.
maybe it can kick us in the butt to get a few more.
I was just talking to Vi when we arrived. I'm like, I don't think I've ever been to this side of Ulsan before. This far past Munsu. I go to Munsu almost every weekend. It's my second home. But I've never been this far across.
Yeah.
And so thank you so much for having us on. This was a great
Yeah,
experience.
thank you very much.
No worries. Sorry about the lack of aircon here. I know it's getting a little
Perfect, the fan's
steamy.
right on my back.
But we'll survive. Anyways, everyone, thanks for listening. And that's it. 122 in the books. Bye-bye.